Hot Rod will kick it off. Rodrigo Blankenship in front of a packed house on this homecoming Saturday night in Athens. Derek Mason looking for Vandy to capitalize on some close games. They nearly won in South Bend a couple of weeks ago. Jamari Wakefield, Josh Crawford back to receive for Vanderbilt. Rodrigo Blankenship will get us started. And we are underway from the Classic City. No chance for a return for Vanderbilt. And so Kyle Shermer takes the field. His Achilles heel the last couple of games has been turnovers. He's turned it over 4 times the last 2 contests. Good size at 6'4", 225, and top 3 in Vandy history in passing yards and touchdowns. He did not put up sensational numbers the last time Vandy came here 2 years ago, but they won the game. He was just 7 of 18 for 109 yards, but he led them on the game-winning drive midway through the 4th quarter. Keyshawn Vaughn is in the backfield next to Shermer. Georgia shows blitz. They bring it from the edge, and it's batted down. Walter Grant did not hide the fact that he was coming.
Really good start here by Georgia. They bring the nickel pressure. You're taught if you can't get home, can't get to the quarterback, get your hands up. Kyle Shermer sees it coming. He knows he's got his running back as the hot route, but he just simply cannot get it there. Great job off the edge by Walter Grant.
Number 6 defense in college football. This Georgia team allows only 13 points a game. Pinckney, the tight end, in motion. On 2nd and down, Vandy will try to run it, and Vaughn is able to get to the edge. It's a gain of 7. Vanderbilt graduated Ralph Webb. He was the all-time leading rusher in school history. And even without his durability and dependability, they feel like the 3-headed monster they have back there now puts them in better position.
Yeah, I think they got a great mixture of running backs. Keyshawn Vaughn, the transfer from Illinois, ran for over 1,000 yards there. He's dynamic. He's more of the home run hitter. Later on, you'll see Kari Blassingame, a former linebacker that's their bruiser. And then Jamari Wakefield as well will mix it up.
3rd and 3. Shermer has it batted away. He was trying to find Pinckney. And Vandy will be forced to punt. Tyler Clark got a piece of it.
Really good job here. 2 guys stunting to the middle of the formation. And again, defensive lineman. First day, you're taught, if you don't hit home, get your hands up. Twice now, Shermer has had an open receiver, somewhere to go with the ball, and Georgia's done a great job of getting their hands in the passing lanes.
Parker Tomey on to punt it away. The sensational Mecole Hardman stands back at the 24. Hardman will let it hop in front of him, and he'll take it on 1 bounce. He is dangerous, and he's got a full head of steam now. Beautiful block of flags flying, and finally has to go over the punter. 51-yard kick and 28 on the return. By the way, Lynn Bowden has a touchdown for Kentucky. They lead at A&M early 7-0. 54-yard touchdown catch for Bowden as Kentucky tries to stay undefeated. Hubert Owens and his crew talking this one over. Here's the call for our head man.
Return, holding, receiving team, number 87, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's on Tyler Simmons. So Kirby Smart will send the offense out to the field under the direction of Jake Fromm. 17-2 as a starter, 5 wins against top 25 opponents, leading the nation in pass efficiency, 3rd in the country in completion percentage. All those numbers add up to a quarterback that has the respect of his locker room and his huddle. But the quarterback position will be the story of the game tonight. We'll see if and when Justin Fields enters. Elijah Holyfield will start at tailback. On play action, Fromm goes to an in route, and that's complete to Mecole Hardman, and he fights for another extra yard. They pick up 6. Great visit with Jim Chaney, the offensive coordinator of Georgia, and Kirby Smart yesterday. We spent a lot of time talking about how Justin Fields fits into this offense. And the feeling we came away with is that they want to put Fields in a position to run the entire offense, not just the Wildcat. Lob is incomplete. He was trying to find Terry Godwin. But there's no question that when they needed a spark last week, that's when they went to Fields.
Yeah, Fields is a dynamic athlete. There's things that they can do running the football as a changeup that really add a spark to this offense. But I'm most intrigued about what we don't know about Justin Fields yet. How prolific, how efficient can he be in the passing game? If he can do that, we're going to continue to see more and more of Justin Fields. As good as Fromm is, he adds an element that Fromm doesn't have.
DeAndre Swift is now in the game at running back. Fromm on 3rd and 4, and it's batted away on a tremendous play by Joanne Williams, the most talented cover corner that Vandy has. He was defending Terry Godwin.
And the second time Fromm looks Godwin's way. Guy that's only got 4 catches on the year, still trying to get him going. But Joanne Williams over there is Vandy's most talented corner. Former LSU recruit. He's 6'3", 208 pounds. If you're going a direction, I'd go the opposite direction of that guy.
But one thing we'll get into next time Georgia has the ball, that could be Jake Fromm playing point guard.
Yeah,
we'll explain that a little bit later. Joe Camarda to punt it away. He's a freshman from Norcross. And we got a flag on the play. And Trey Ellis with a running catch, 37-yard punt, and the officials will talk about it.
Illegal formation, kicking team. More than 5 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty added to the end of the return. First down.
If I'm not mistaken, it's the second time in as many games Georgia has suffered that penalty. Kyle Shermer will lead Vandy on their second. Let's take a look at how Georgia's defense is the readiest, brought to you by Holiday Inn Express.
Yeah, teams have a tough time getting explosive plays on Georgia. One of the reasons they're opportunistic when they hold a ball carrier up, they tackle well in space, and they get hats to the ball. Always 2, 3, 4, 5 guys tackling every ball carrier. Tough to get chunk plays on this defense.
5th in the nation in scoring defense, 6th in the country in total defense. Under defensive coordinator Mel Tucker, spent a lot of time in the NFL, at one point the interim head coach of the Jaguars. On 1st and 10, Vandy hands it off. This is Keyshawn Vaughn into the open field. Vaughn with a bend to the outside and a sprint inside the 20. Vaughn throws the brakes on, and he picks up a first down on a 44-yard run.
Just as we talk about chunk plays and why they're so hard to get against Georgia, they're just overcommitting here. You see the linebacker on the front side overcommitting to the zone, and that's why the zone is so dangerous, that backside cut. Vaughn has great vision on the backside there, cuts it back. Jawan Taylor overplayed it from the linebacker position. That's a big chunk play that Vandy needs for a team that's been starting slow.
Jamar Wakefield in the backfield now. He'll find the sledding a little bit tougher. That run by Vaughn is the longest run allowed by Georgia this year. Let's go to the studio. Here's Dari.
Hey, Tom, we have a scoring situation at Kyle Field, and it's Kentucky that strikes first on the little end around. Terry Wilson to Lynn Bowden. Cats trying to get to 6-0 for the first time since 1950. They lead at 7-zip.
Bear Bryant was the coach then for Kentucky. It's been a while. 2nd down, 7 for Vandy. On the ground again. Wakefield squirts through. And Jawan Taylor, one of 3 Jawan Taylors that plays in the SEC East, got him by a shoestring.
Man, Vanderbilt right now doing a good job on the interior offensive line, getting movement on those 1 and 3 techniques, those big bodies inside for Georgia. That's allowing these running backs to get on the second level.
And that's no Della Ripa at center, guys. He's sitting out Bruno Reagan, had to slide back down into center, a position he played last year. And you see a zero nose. Mel Tucker's trying to cover that center position up the majority of these first 2 drives for Vanderbilt, trying to make life a little bit more difficult.
And that puts Sage Young on the offensive line, by the way. Vandy moves to timeout. Oh, by the way, the other 2 Juwan Taylors play for Florida. They had a big win. They knocked off LSU in front of a sold-out crowd at the Swamp. No score early on, but Vandy threatening, trying to repeat that big 2016 upset here.
SEC Saturday Night is presented by Holiday Inn Express. Be the readiest. And in part by ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Georgia and Vandy between the hedges. Georgia leads the all-time series 56-20. They started in 1893, but Vandy won the last time they were here. That was a late drive and a low-scoring game. Derek Mason's team looking to change the tempo a little bit. Big run has him in great position, 3rd and 1. Kari Blasingame is the tailback. Georgia brings pressure up the middle, and it's blown up. Tyler Clark slid right through to loss of 2.
Vandy brings in a little extra bulk here at the tackle at tight end, but you're going to see Clark come right through. That's got to be a down block by 86. He's got to get on the hip there, at least get a body on him, and Clark just too quick.
Almost impossible to get your head all the way across on that block, Jordan, especially in goal line.
Got to get a piece, though. At least a piece.
So a 25-yard attempt for Riley Gay, junior from outside of Chicago. And Gay has Vanderbilt on the board as the Doors strike first. Meanwhile, for Georgia, they'll come back out with a 1-2 punch at running back. And for that, we turn to our boxing expert. Here's Teddy Atlas.
Hi, I'm Teddy Atlas, ESPN's boxing analyst. They asked me to do my own little tape to tape for the Georgia running backs. And here we go. In the red corner, weighing 215 pounds, Elijah Holyfield. He's the real deal. He's got the power to knock out a couple of defensive backs in victory. And if you're going to have power, well, you got to have a jab in that backfield to set up that power. And that would be DeAndre Swift. Just like his name suggests, yeah, he's fast. At the end of the day, that 1-2 punch, Georgia, baby.
There is nobody better than Teddy Atlas. Here's a tail of tape. One's 5'11", one's 5'9". They're both 215, and we go a little bit deeper like you would for boxing. DeAndre Swift's got big hands, and Elijah Holyfield's got big biceps with a 72-inch wingspan. Who knew that you could replace the greatest duo in college football history with 2 guys that have been almost as effective, if not as explosive?
Absolutely. 2 guys replacing that are now playing on Sundays. Both almost had 100 yards this last week. And still, with Swift and Holyfield, you feel like you don't miss a beat. Holyfield's more like the Nick Chubb. DeAndre Swift is more like the Sony Michel. They complement each other, and they are dynamic.
No chance for a return for Georgia. By the way, Georgia trailing for the first time this year. Here's what we're talking about with the former heavyweight champ Evander Holyfield and Elijah. It looks like it's the same body type, like exact same.
Yeah, I'm glad they don't measure our biceps for work, because, I mean, he's unbelievable. Look at that. I got no words. He doesn't skip the gym. I skip the gym.
DeAndre Swift started the first 4 games. Elijah Holyfield came out as the starting running back tonight. It'll be Swift here. And Swift is so versatile. They got him on the field last year by putting him out there as a slot receiver. And Jim Chaney said it's benefited him greatly because he knows the concepts of every position. From going deep, high arcing shot. It is hauled in. Terry Godwin. And he stays up. Godwin dances into the end zone. 75 yards. Well, you could tell the point guard wanted to set up a reliable score. Went to him twice, first drive, nothing, and then a big shot to get on the board.
And I love it. Just one completion last week of a ball thrown more than 15 yards. Fromm had an open guy underneath, but he saw what he wanted to on the back end. He took a calculated risk, and he put that ball on the money.
Rodrigo Blankenship for the point after. Jake Fromm told us when he runs the offense, he doesn't just look at what the defense is doing or what the personnel is. He knows guys that he needs to get involved like a point guard would and to spread the love around the guys that want it and need it. You get a feeling that's what he did with the senior Godwin.
Yeah, the third target for Godwin, just 4 catches on the year. We spoke to Jake Fromm, and he said, I want to get guys involved early. You're going to see the post here with an over route. Actually, this is open, but the safety has flat feet. Fromm reads that, sees it. Right here, see that safety bite up? He knows he's got it. Backside corner's not even in the equation, and a great ball on a post route for a guy in Fromm that last week he missed 2 deep ones. Missed a post throw, missed another one on the left sideline. That's beautiful right there. I mean, right in stride.
How about the moves that Godwin had to stay up and get in? Tail end of the play was almost as impressive as the throw.
That's what a good run game. We were just talking about the running backs in Swift and Holyfield. That's what they'll do. Get everybody to bite up. Those safeties will get heavy-footed, get their eyes in the backfield, and that's when you're most susceptible to the deep shot.
Longest play of the year for Georgia. Blankenship will kick it away. Wakefield will let it bounce behind him. Let's get you back to the studio for another update. Here's Darinoka.
All right, Tom, trying to find some offense are both Auburn and Mississippi State. We've well documented Mississippi State struggles. Second possession, Nick Fitzgerald throws his 3rd pick of the season. Auburn turns it into 3 points. 3-zip War Eagle. Guys.
All right, Dari, thanks. Meanwhile, Kentucky leads Texas A&M with 8.5 to go in the second quarter at Kyle Field. What a win that would be for Mark Stoops and his Wildcats. They are 5-0 on the season. Looking to turn back the clock in the Bluegrass. Shermer will hand it off. No, he spins and wants to throw. And so out of the backfield, he goes to Wakefield. And Vandy's offense is looking smooth early on. It's a 20-yard gain.
And if you're Kyle Shermer, you got to not press too much. They have not been good in the first quarter traditionally this year. Had 2 turnovers early last week against Tennessee State. Keep taking what the defense is giving you. The running game's going. They're going to give you some of those throws underneath. Don't press too hard too early.
Late subs for Georgia. They couldn't get him off the field. And so they used a timeout. And some miscommunication from a handful of guys, including freshman Brenton Cox, who was out there. And Kirby Smart not too happy with the miscommunication.
There's no foul for substitution infraction. Offense is never in formation. Timeout. Georgia. The first time out of the half.
So Georgia trailed for the first time all season when Vandy got on top with a field goal, and they trailed for all of 1 play. The 75-yard strike was finished off with a fine move by Terry Godwin to stay on his feet. Vandy's ball. When we return. You can stream college football all season long on ESPN Plus. Start your free trial today by downloading the ESPN app or visiting ESPNplus.com. Right now you can see Auburn and Mississippi State 3-0 lead for the Tigers in Starkville, and Kentucky leads A&M 7-0, 7:26 and counting in the second quarter there. Out of the timeout First and 10, Vandy. Another four-man rush where they bring a backer and flags down and pass complete. It's the first catch for Kalijah Lipscomb.
Offside. Defense, number 51. Penalty is refused. Result of the play is a first down.
David Marshall. So Georgia is setting up with a three-man front, and they're bringing a fourth rusher, often from about 2 or 3 yards off the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and that makes it tough on a quarterback. You see Vandy's trying to spread it out. They're trying to simplify what the defense is doing, and that's how you counter it. You try to make the quarterback wonder where that fourth guy is going to come from.
Jamari Wakefield changes direction behind the line, and he's able to find just a yard. Natrez Patrick there with the stop.
Jamari Wakefield, the ball carrier.
Vandy's in a little bit of a bind. They want to be able to run the football. They haven't been that successful running the football with tight ends and fullbacks in the game. And they definitely don't want to give Georgia another reason to stack linebackers and extra defenders. So when we talked to Andy Ludwig, he referenced the Missouri game, said they did a good job of establishing the run in 4 receiver sets, as we see right here, something that Vandy's going to try to do.
Pressure coming. Shermer off his back foot, and it falls incomplete. And will leave 3rd and 8. There were 3 different red jerseys in the Vandy backfield that time. David Marshall, one of them.
Yeah, Georgia's just playing games right now, trying to make Kyle Shermer, as he looks to the left there, understand where that extra rusher is coming from. Should be a play where you have everybody blocked, but when he comes from depth, the offensive linemen there take him out of their blocking scheme. As you see, Jamari Wakefield, the running back, trying to pick up the slack. Georgia playing games with Kyle Shermer on where that extra rusher's coming from and doing a good job early.
Play clock at 3. 4-man rush again. Shermer incomplete. Nobody was there. Lipscomb, the nearest Vandy receiver. He was at the hash, and that ball was thrown to the numbers. Does Kyle Shermer look for Kalijah Lipscomb too often?
When you have a relationship like that with a receiver, you can't say it's ever too often. When he's as productive as Kalijah Lipscomb is at getting open, understanding coverages, making tough catches, you got to keep going there if it's working. You'd obviously love some balance, so teams can't key on that. But
you know what we need now, though? We need some cold cuts. And the only guy who can give us cold cuts is our offensive lineman, Cole Kubelik.
Tom, we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, not as much bully ball from the Georgia Bulldogs as far as just turning and handing it off, but let's watch tight end Charlie Werner here. Could it be a pass play? We mentioned Jake Fromm getting it to his playmakers a little bit more. How about 89, about 15 yards down the field? He'll give you one. And the freshman, Cade Mays, right after the play, 77, pulling him over. I love it. The mindset has not changed, even though the looks of the plays may have changed for the Georgia Bulldogs.
The only thing that gets Cole more excited is when he gets a new pair of shoes. Fromm swings it out to Hardman. Good blocking. Cole's got to love that. Big tight end Charlie Werner was out there. Then they able to bring extra white jerseys. It's only a gain of 3.
Telling you guys, 89 has been an integral part of this offense. He had multiple pancakes against Tennessee in the run game. Going back to the big touchdown pass Fromm had earlier, he was one-on-one in an island in pass protection. Had a nice block there, so he's really done a lot of different nice things in this Jim Chaney offense.
Remember, Charlie Werner didn't play in the national championship game last year, suffered a broken leg in that sensational win in the Rose Bowl.
Well, he complements Isaac Nada really well, because Nada's more of the pass-catching tight end, so they can go 2 tight end sets and be very versatile in the formations they can do.
Here's Swift. Teddy Atlas talked about his elusiveness and his speed. gain 7 and gives them a first down. Here's a look at Georgia's starters along the offensive line. Cade Mays is just a freshman at right guard.
I mean, that's some beef. We just talked about cold cuts. This offensive line is ginormous, and nobody bigger than right tackle Isaiah Wilson, 6'7", 340. And that 340 is not a fat 340. He's got a six-pack. Maybe not, but he doesn't have a belly, that's for sure. He's a big boy, really well put together.
Fromm to throw on the slant. It's incomplete. In contrast, Vandy's average D-line size is 271. Coppett gets flagged, it seems. We got 2 separate flags.
And Tom, that's really the mismatch of this game, and it will be the story of this game, is how Vandy on the defensive side of the ball can hold up on the defensive interior. Their best player down there, number 34, Dare Odangbo, is not that big, just 280. He plays with a lot of effort, plays with a lot of tempo, but can they hold up? When we were talking to Jason Tarver, the defensive coordinator.
Pass interference. Defense, number 2. That penalty is declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 10, defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
You mentioned Dario Dangbo. That's his brother Dio Dangbo, who got called for roughing the passer, number 10. From right up the middle.
Yeah, they'll get that. Can't touch that quarterback's face.
Keep reminding us that.
Pretty boys. What I was saying is Jason Tarver, the defensive coordinator, and Derek Basin both mentioned they're going to have to structurally do more to get more bodies in the box to try to stop the run.
Fromm checks back to the right to Swift. Beautiful open field tackle by Josh Smith. By the way, you're talking about Vandy up front holding up. They'll have to do it without Louis Vecchio. He did not make the trip. He's out with an illness. And outside linebacker Charles Wright, preseason second-team all-conference, is also not available tonight for Vandy, so they're missing a couple of key defenders.
Charles Wright's a big loss. He's as talented of a pass rusher as Vandy has on that side of the ball. Big loss not having him off the edge.
Second down 10, and Fromm will find the sideline. Really interesting talking with Jake Fromm about how he prepares for games. He spent the summer at the Manning Academy, and if you're going to learn from somebody how to prepare both the right way and the efficient way, Peyton Manning would be a pretty good tutor.
Yeah, I mean, I get to go to that camp every year. Peyton and Eli dump as much information and knowledge as they can on these college kids, and I think Fromm, his biggest takeaway as we talked to him was having answers, knowing exactly where to go with the ball, checking the ball down more, making smart decisions from the quarterback position.
And he fires over the middle for a sliding grab to Riley Ridley. 15-yard gain.
Boy, and Fromm is just so good with his eyes. Look at him look left. He knows where he's going with the ball. He just wants to move that play side linebacker on the left out of the window. So he's got a bigger area to throw the ball to Riley Ridley. One thing to watch, Jake Fromm's eyes. And if you can see the stripe on his helmet, he's usually sending defenders away from where he's going to throw.
Swift this time. I want to go back to something that you said a moment ago, though, is the idea that Jake Fromm comes to the line of scrimmage not with one counter to the play that's called, but at times 4 different options to what the play is called.
Yeah, and most quarterbacks can come to the line of scrimmage, and if they have a run play on, maybe the coaches have talked about, okay, you can change it to this. Well, Jake Fromm has 4 or 5 plays, no matter what they call, that he can always check it to, whether it's a run or a pass. He has full autonomy of this offense, unlike most quarterbacks in the SEC or this country.
Trying to set up the screen to Swift. Warner was out there. Swift is able to get out of trouble and turn it into a 9-yard gain. He'll be just short of the first down, it seems.
You guys talk about that understanding of the offense. I think DeAndre Swift's a perfect example to add on to what Jordan says about Jake Fromm. Jim Chaney telling us he likes to train his players to learn the offense conceptually, not to just focus on one position. And then when you know what other guys are doing, the expectation there, it only helps you at your position.
3rd and short, and now playing in the rain. Brian Harrion has entered into short yardage back. Vandy may have moved. Let's just hope this doesn't turn into quagmire.
Offense, number 8, 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
So it's on Ridley, and that'll change the play selection. Doesn't turn into quagmire they saw at Williams-Brice Stadium today. That was a mess between Missouri and South Carolina. I couldn't turn that game off.
Yeah, then what? They get a delay with 2 minutes left in the game of a tight one.
Mizzou went back to take the lead after that.
That was nuts.
The affable Jim Chaney is buried behind the wires and the cables and the poles.
He's always a fun one to talk to.
Oh, he's great. He did point something out. He said, you know, we can't get Justin Fields into the game in a position to run the entire offense because we're not going to throw when we have these big leads. Average margin of victory 30 points for this Georgia squad. They're up 7-3 here. We've got a timeout amidst the raindrops. Homecoming here in the Classic City, and they honored one of their all-time greats. Hines Ward did a little bit of everything for Georgia back in the mid to late 90s. Went to the Steelers in the draft in 98, third round, 92nd overall. Cole, I would say that was a pretty good draft pick for your Pittsburgh team.
You're kidding me? He's my favorite Steeler of all time, and it's a weird deal having played at Auburn because, you know, the oldest rivalry in the South. It's kind of hard to cheer for a Bulldog, but man, what Hines Ward did as a Pittsburgh Steelers was unbelievable. A lot of fun to watch, and one of the more versatile players in college football history. Doesn't get a lot of credit for that.
Well, he even won Dancing with the Stars. 3rd and 6 for Georgia. 5 men on the route. He goes to Swift. Nothing doing there. Solomon Kinley is slow to get to his feet for Georgia. They're starting left guard.
Okay, now play. Solomon Kinley, checking up for the Bulldogs.
We've got a flag on the play, and we have an injury timeout as the Georgia training staff goes out to check on the sophomore from Jacksonville. They're already without Ben Cleveland. So Trey Hill will come over left guard. Kirby Smart telling us we shouldn't expect to see Ben Cleveland back on the field until the very end of the season.
Yeah, it's really a shame, too, because he is an absolute mauler, a guy that's really fun to watch, especially in the run game. For a freshman late last year, really came into his own. I thought he changed the Georgia offensive line late last season when he was inserted into that lineup, helped them become a dominant run team. But you know, this is a young man right here, Tom, Solomon Kinley. Not a lot of people talk about. I watched him in the South Carolina game. Thought he graded out better than any other Georgia offensive lineman. Talked to Sam Pittman, the offensive line coach, before the game.
Personal foul, face mask, offense number 71. 15-yard penalty, replay 3rd down.
And he actually agreed. And he said it's odd that nobody talks about him, but he's playing some of the best ball of anybody that we have.
The tough part for Georgia, you saw the injury he got rolled up on, is that Andrew Thomas was out earlier, and with Thomas injured, they haven't had the same offensive line together consistently, and now that seems to be the case again with Kinley. And as we talk about how this affects Georgia's production offensively, it's one of the reasons why Justin Fields is so valuable, because it gives you better numbers in the run game with him being essentially, and I know I don't want to limit him, we know he can do more than this, but he is used right now as a running quarterback.
Yeah, and if a pass is called and protection breaks down, he's able to make plays with his feet. I mean, with Solomon Kinley out, you now have a true sophomore at left tackle. You're going to have a true freshman at left guard, a true freshman at right guard, and a redshirt freshman at right tackle. Yeah. There's a lot of youth. Now, the good thing is Jake Fromm is excellent at knowing where pressure's coming from, how to rebolster his offensive line or send protection a certain way. But that element of Justin Fields is very real, and I think that's one of the reasons we see him at times is to give a little alleviation to that offensive line.
Well, it's funny you bring up the part about Fromm, because then the question is which quarterback is truly a better fit for an offensive line that is imperfect, and imperfect through injuries, not that they're not talented. And so therefore, are we going to see more of a 2-quarterback system with this Georgia team?
I think it'll be kind of a feel-out process. And even talking to Kirby Smart yesterday, they don't have a plan of when and how much Justin Fields will play. It's not like most times we say, okay, we want to put a package in for the 3rd drive or the 4th drive. Not at all. If they need him from momentum standpoint, they're going to put him in. If they need him because protection issues, they need to change up the running game, they're going to do it. So it's kind of a feeling process, and I think we'll feel out these next few drives with the youth at offensive line and see if there's a need for him.
On 3rd and 20, Fromm finds Holyfield out of the backfield. And he'll pick up only a couple.
That's a great stop there for Vandy's defense. For a team that has traditionally throughout this entire year dug themselves into holes on both the offense and defensive side of the ball early in games, to have a chance to get the ball back and end this first quarter in a tight game or with a chance to take the lead, that's huge if you're Vandy.
Jake Camarda to punt it away.
Trey Ellis, team for Vanderbilt.
Trey Ellis, a 5th-year senior out of Charlotte, to return. That is a beautiful punt, and Ellis takes a fair catch inside his 5, a 43-yarder as Camarda does his job. Monday at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. It's Thinking Out Loud with Greg McElroy and Marcus Spears. They'll talk football and want your participation via social media throughout the show. Also available streaming live on the ESPN app.
While we're on the topic, I'm just thinking out loud here. Is alleviation a word? Did I use that right?
You know
what I meant.
Guy,
Everybody
so
knew what I meant.
I always assume that you're right. I give you the benefit of the doubt.
I think everybody knew what I meant, but
sometimes when I get done at the end, I need some alleviation from you and Cole.
Yeah.
No disrespect. Shermer has started this game 2 of 6 for 34 yards. They're backed up here. And the running game gets them nothing. Vandy comes in with a rushing offense, which is 13th in the SEC in yards per game. 83rd in the country. Derek Mason's been a little fired up tonight.
It looks like they're bringing in Kari Blasingame here. Their bigger, more physical running back. Not a surprise. At the very worst on this drive, you want to give yourself a little breathing room for that punt. Crucial to not go backwards in this situation.
They also have Sam Dobbs in at tight end. 2 tight ends to the left side, along with Ben Bresnahan. Try to run up behind those guys. And Blasingame finds 2 yards. Tate Crowder in on the stop for Georgia. 3rd down.
You saw the difference right there between Vaughn and Blasingame. Vaughn on the same stretch play kind of goes high.
The public address announcer, please notify the crowd that they cannot blow whistles from the sand.
He jumps while he's kind of looking and trying to create space, but then Kari Blasingame just puts his head down, gets north and south.
Yeah, I mean, Cole, he's 230 pounds, so he's definitely the guy that's going to be falling forward to add a few yards.
Timeout. Timeout. Vanderbilt.
This explains, by the way, the announcement they just made, both over the PA system and from the referee. Hubert Owens explains what Derek Mason was so upset about a moment ago. I thought when that last Vandy play started that there was some miscommunication and maybe some timidness from the Vandy players. And if they're hearing a whistle in the stands, that would help explain why they wouldn't have continued to play as hard as they could.
Yeah, it almost looked like one of those times you think maybe somebody jumped or something. The way the play started, the way they got off the ball. So
I heard it down here at field level, guys. I thought the play was going to be called dead, and I kind of wondered if that's why, like Chom mentioned, maybe they didn't come off the ball, the Vanderbilt offensive line and backs, the way that you'd expect them to. I did hear a few whistles after that ball was snapped.
Cole, did that ever happen to you when you were playing O-line?
Maybe it did, but I didn't hear it. I mean, the difference is when you're playing O-line, D-line, there's so much grunting and clawing and scratching and spitting and snot bubbles blowing out of your nose, you're not hearing any whistles.
Cole was one of those guys that didn't stop in that first whistle.
Cole never stops after the whistle, still to this day. Hey, Derek Mason is not only looking for an explanation, but I think he's looking for some support here. I mean, you're playing on the road. The hill is steep enough as it is. He said, my guys are going to stop on a play because they're blowing a whistle. And it's a dangerous situation, right? Because if it continues, then you go through a whistle, that's when people get hurt.
Yeah, I think he's arguing right here that maybe they should have asked him if he wanted that timeout or wanted to save it because refs ended up stopping and making an explanation anyway. Maybe he didn't want to spend that timeout.
3rd and 8.
Elijah Lipscomb at the bottom of your screen here, working on true freshman Tyson Campbell.
Shermer goes over the middle. It is caught for a first down by Jared Pinkney. What a strike. It's a gain of 12. And Vandy gets some breathing room.
That's why Jared Pinkney is so dangerous. He's big, he's athletic, but he runs like a receiver. And strong hands here with DeAndre Baker and really good coverage. That's a tough catch there. Really, really strong conversion there on 3rd and long.
Texas A&M just scored. They're a point after away from tying it up with Kentucky right before the half. Shermer pulls it back. Now throws. Great hands on a 6-yard gain to C.J. Buller.
Really tight coverage again by DeAndre Baker. C.J. Bowler is a talented young true freshman. And as much attention as Kalijah Lipscomb gets, Vandy needs a second receiver to emerge. And Bowler's 6'3", 190 pounds, still learning the position, learning the intricacies of running routes, but he has made plays. 7 catches, 71 yards last year, or last game, and what was really his coming out party.
On 2nd and 4. And Vandy gets the first down with Keyshawn Vaughn. Well, you had a similar situation during your playing days at Vandy, a favorite receiver that you go to a lot. That was Jordan Matthews for you. Shurmur, almost as effective going to Kalijah Lipscomb on a regular basis.
Yeah, and I tell you what, defenses knew exactly where we were going with the ball, and we still went there. Jordan Matthews would line up in every single position, the X, the Z, the R. We'd motion him, and that's the same thing that this Vandy offense does with Kalijah Lipscomb. You saw him split out wide to the right, this time in the slot to the left side of your field.
Top of the formation, right at the hashes. Number 16, Lipscomb. Shurmur play action, looking for Lipscomb. He's got a step, but Shurmur can't get rid of it before the pressure comes. They rule it incomplete. Tay Crowder, pardon me, they ruled it a fumble. The beanbag's on the field at the 17-yard line. Recovered by Vandy.
Where this pressure comes from, but hard play action. Right up the play side. That's the tough part about blocking front side on play action. You want to stay low, but right there, left guard, left tackle get caught up on one guy.
End of the quarter.
He was trying to go to Kalijah Lipscomb there. Might have had him. Pressure got there.
Vandy trails 7-3 at the end of 1 in Athens. Early touchdown of the night thus far is the longest play of the season for Georgia. 75 yards from to Godwin. Vandy scored first. And now the Commodores facing a 2nd and 14. This is Blasingame. And he picks up all of that yardage needed and a little bit more and 4 more. Let's check in with Dari.
All right, Tom showed you Kentucky taking the early lead at Texas A&M. The Aggies have bounced back, driven down the field themselves. Kellen Mond to Courtney Davis ties the game at 7 as they are late in the second.
All right, Dari, thank you. Mississippi State leads Auburn 6-3. State just got a field goal moments ago. Ole Miss hung 70 on UL Monroe, 826 total yards. That's a school record, second most in school history, going back to Alabama versus Virginia Tech in 1973. Shurmur dumps it out of the backfield to Blasingame. Beautiful block, and Blasingame's into Georgia territory. Finally tacked down by Natez Patrick. It's a gain of 22.
I really like what Andy Ludwig, the offensive coordinator for Vanderbilt, is doing right now. He's spreading them out, hitting some zone runs, and then he's condensing some formations and passing out of it. So kind of contradictory to what you might think and what Vanderbilt has done, but he's finding some success.
Shurmur has started this game 5 for 9 for 74 yards. Keyshawn Vaughn is in the game now at running back as Vandy operates out of the pistol. That's Pinckney in motion. Not a great snap. Flag on the play on the edge. And a first down likely coming back with multiple flags. We got 3 of them down. And we also have Jared Pinckney down in the Vanderbilt backfield. As it stands, a gain of 13. I don't think that's going to stand for long. Pinckney came in motion and he was trying to block the edge, which is where the first flag came from. And then as soon as the play ended, he went down.
Yeah, he was engaged with J.R. Reed there blocking. Looks like he got turned around. Can't quite tell. That's a valuable target for Kyle Shermer.
He had 111 yards receiving in the near win at Notre Dame. It's the national tight end of the week after that trip to South Bend. He came into this game with 14 catches over the last 4 games.
He's really always had the physical potential.
Holding. Offense, number 74. That penalty is declined. Illegal formation. Offense, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. After the play was over, personal foul. Number 3, unnecessary roughness out of bounds on the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So the net result is -5 yards, but a first down. No, -5, then the 15, so it's +10 for Vandy, and it was the freshman Tyson Campbell who drove him out of bounds.
That's a tough one. Had his head down. Tough to tell where that sideline is. Looked like he tried to pull up just a little bit too late.
Pinckney goes to the trainer's table inside the tent. He'll get looked at.
Good to see him walk off, though, in his own right. If it's me, Vandy's got to take a shot here at some point. As an offensive coordinator, you think about where you're at on the field, what the down is. Got 1st and 10 here at about the 24-yard line. Not a bad place to find out where Kalijah Lipscomb is, who's on him, and possibly take a shot.
Movement for Vandy. Donovan Tennyson.
False start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty.
It's Devin
First down.
Cochran, the right tackle, who gets flagged. And that hurts. 3rd flag against Vandy tonight. 1st and 15. Can this Vandy offense operate for long without Pinckney? 18 catches coming into this game.
That's tough. They move them all over the place, and having an athlete at tight end allows them to dictate what personnel Georgia gets in. That's tough without him.
They run it on 1st and 15, able to find a couple. That's Kari Blasingame, the 5th-year senior out of Huntsville, Alabama, with another carry. On 2nd and 13, they want to run it again. And Jordan Davis has his 2nd consecutive tackle. This one in the backfield for a loss of 2 after Natrez Patrick turned him around.
Boy, and I tell you what, Tyler Clark is living in the backfield right now. Nearly pulled down the running back before he even got started, but he is being disruptive in that B and C gap in between the center and guard. The guard and tackle. He's shooting that gap nearly every time.
3rd down, 15. Shermer will move the pocket, throws on the run, complete, and C.J. Bowler lost the football on his way down. Shy of the marker anyway, but it could it was Dobbs who ended up with it, and Vandy will still have a chance at a field goal attempt. Richard LeCompte forced it out, and Dobbs able to hustle his way there.
That's a heads-up play. Great play design. Love the play design. But gotta hold on to that ball. Those are some of those self-inflicting wounds that Vandy has had a propensity to continue doing, especially in the red zone. Gotta have an amplified focus.
11 minutes, 7 seconds. 11:07.
J.R. Reed being tended to by the athletic training staff, junior from Frisco, Texas. Had a pick against South Carolina. And they're going to take their time with J.R., get him back on the grass Talk to him. Vandy is 5 of 10 on 4th down this season if they want to keep the offense on the field. What would you do if you're Derek Mason here? Andy Ludwig, their offensive coordinator.
I mean, as a quarterback, I'm always the one saying let's go for it, but not so sure I wouldn't just take the points here. And I don't think if you're Vandy, you expected it to be this close right now, have the opportunity to take the lead, but take the points, make it a 7-6 ball game. Defense is playing good so far, minus the one big play.
The kicking game has been inconsistent for Vandy.
Yeah.
Gay has missed all 3 from 40 yards or longer. This would be about a 33-yarder at most.
And they opened up the kicking competition this week because of last week and what's happened early in this season. Nothing changed, but sometimes you open up a job as a head coach to really refocus someone, light a fire under them, make sure that they bring a different mentality the next time they step on the field.
Pinckney's headed back to the locker room.
This offense is going to stay out there.
Fourth and 1 for Vanderbilt. Remember, they won here 2 years ago. That was a low-scoring, grinded-out game. Glass and Gain and Vaughn both in the backfield, flanking Kyle Sherman. Glass and Gain hit behind the line, tries to surge, and once again it's Jordan Davis who's making plays for Georgia. That is his 3rd tackle on this drive, and the spot shows that they were held short.
And it's just a complete miss up front for Vandy.
They're going to bring out the chains to measure. Looks like he's short by at least a football.
Yeah, they just flat out didn't block Jordan Davis, and then too many bodies in there. You got to take care of the first level in any zone scheme, in any running play. There's some miscommunication up there on the interior line for Vandy.
That's short. And Vandy turns it over on downs. What a game for Jordan Davis tonight for Georgia.
Tom, I can tell you, Mel Tucker loves Jordan Davis. They think he can be the next John Atkins, that big anchor, that big boulder in the middle of the Georgia defense. They really built it around John, as they call him, a season ago. Just a freshman. He's cut down his weight. Coach Tucker told me he's one of the strongest guys in the weight room already, and they expect him to do big things for this defense moving forward.
Yeah, cut down his weight to 320.
Yeah. Not even listed on the 2 deep, and he's making plays for Georgia. 7-3 Dogs. Georgia leads Vanderbilt 7-3 on homecoming night here in Athens. And Vanderbilt without one of their key guys, Jared Pinckney, who went back to the locker room.
Yeah, right here on the right side of the line of scrimmage. Trying to see if it was maybe a lower body injury at first, but right here you're going to see his helmet snap back. As J.R. Reed gives him a thump with his right shoulder, kind of bends over at the end. He got banged up a little bit there. No lower body.
The athletic training staff, when they came out to check on him, one of the things they were doing was shielding his eyes here under the lights in Sanford Stadium. So we'll wait and see. Wait for an update there. Georgia's been banged up on the offensive line as Holyfield tries to move that line forward. Gain of 5 on first down. Beautiful night here in the Classic City and homecoming. It was homecoming 2 years ago when Vandy came in here and picked up the victory. On 2nd and 5, Holyfield finds a hole. Dimitri Moore finds him only after a gain of 12.
That's a great job by this Georgia offensive line. Just a zone scheme, but important to get to the second level. You can see the right side of this offensive line, 2 guys getting to the second level. That's how those runs go from 5 yards to 15. Get on those linebackers.
And then a pickup of 4.
Georgia's starting to push the tempo here a little bit.
Vandy brings pressure, and Jake Fromm finds where that pressure came from. Charlie Werner takes it for a first down to the logo. Gain of 16. Frank Coppett with the stop. Great recognition by Fromm.
That's great. They just bring a little blitz, add a defender, and those are those answers that Jake Fromm mentioned he knows better this year than last year. Where to go with the ball when you're pressured. Where's your quick outlet?
DeAndre Swift picks up 6.
You're going to see Jordan Griffin blitzing from the left side of your screen. And where's your replace, right? You feel pressure as a quarterback. You're taught to replace the blitzer. Nice, easy, quick throw to your tight end. Great job managing where to go and knowing your answers.
When he was in the meeting room with us, it was interesting listening to you two talk, just two quarterbacks going back and forth. Now it's 2nd and 5. Fromm fires incomplete. And one of the things that you guys each discussed is that as a freshman, you're thinking about your own team, remembering, okay, what are the 2 receivers on this side doing? What's the tight end's responsibility? And then as you graduate and you go to the next level, you know that. You know exactly where everyone's going. You're not worried about them. Now you start looking across the line of scrimmage. How can I answer what the defense is doing?
Yeah, playing the game on the other side of scrimmage. When you're young, you're walking the line of scrimmage. Okay, where are my receivers lining up? What checks do they have? What adjustments do they have? Making sure you know what your guys on your side of the ball are doing. Once that's second nature, now you can really start playing football from the quarterback position.
Fromm going deep. We got a flag and pass interference. Riley Ridley was put in the spin cycle by Randall Haney. Redshirt freshman Haney seeing some playing time tonight.
Yeah, sometimes when you know you're beat, got to slow them down any way possible.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 4. Ball is placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Ridley's going to do a little out and up, and he has him. And honestly, that's a great job by Haney. I mean, you're saving a touchdown there. Yeah, you're giving up 15 yards, but that is a surefire 6 points with Fromm and Ridley when you're that wide open. So as defense coordinator, you're okay with that?
So a fresh set of downs. I mean, you'd rather him not get.
Yeah, you'd rather he actually guards him, but you know what I mean. 15 yards is better than 40 for a touchdown.
2 tight ends on the field now for Georgia. They will hand it off. Here's Swift, and he gets hog-tied by Joanne Williams after a gain of 5.
You know, going back to Jake Fromm, when I mentioned playing the game on the other side of the ball, we've referenced a few times already this game where Fromm manipulates the defense with his eyes. And that's what playing the game on the other side of the ball is now we see Justin Fields in the game for a little changeup.
He'll enter on a 2nd and 6. Those are Fromm's numbers, but now it's the freshman Fields. 6 of his 13 runs have gone for 10 yards or more. 6'3", 225. And Fields will keep it. No, he gave it up, and Holyfield has open field to the pylon. Touchdown, Georgia. 24 yards for Elijah Holyfield.
And that's why Holyfield is so dynamic. He's physical, can run through you. He can also make incredibly athletic plays like that right there, diving, laying out for the touchdown. Vandy actually was in the right position to stop that play in the backfield, but Holyfield was just too much, as we see. Looks like he stayed in there.
That is an amazing play and body control to keep the ball over and inside the pylon when he went airborne.
It is so hard to do. You see that his body's getting hit the opposite direction, keeps the ball out over the pylon.
When you dive, any part of your body can touch the pylon for a touchdown, and he got almost his entire upper half over the pylon along with the ball. His dad was the real deal. Elijah's the new deal. 3rd rushing touchdown of the season for Elijah Holyfield.
Win. These ops ain't lit. Win. Start chasing that chip. Stop.
SEC Saturday Night is presented by Holiday Inn Express. Be the readiest. And in part by Academy Sports and Outdoors, the official sports and outdoor retailer of the SEC.
Well, JoJo seems to be a popular name. We judged the dunk contest last night, Steak Mania. Tom Crean's team is going to be really talented. That was a fun night.
That was unbelievable. You were stingy as a judge, though.
Handing out those 5.9.
Yeah,
I tried to hold up a 9.5. I must be dyslexic. It came out as a 5.9. I apologize. I would never give a sub 6. Let's take another look at Elijah Holyfield going airborne and how it played out.
And these are the ways that Justin Fields can affect the game. Their threat for him to run in the movement backside from this tight end gets Josh Smith's eyes. He takes too flat of an angle, and he's out of position to make the play on Holyfield. He's worried about the mobility and the athleticism of Justin Fields, and the split zone movement really made that play. And then obviously, that guy's pretty good too.
By the way, the big leagues tonight, a former Door had a bad night. David Price continued with his postseason struggles. Yankees got him with 3 runs in just an inning and 2/3. It goes back to his postseason appearance against Michigan in 2007. That's right. Vandy boys have another one going tomorrow. Walker Buehler will start for the Dodgers down the road in Atlanta. They got a flag on the play. Jamari Wakefield on the carry.
Illegal formation, offense, 5 players in the backfield, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And by the way, in the Georgia baseball side, Alex Wood worked the 9th inning in the Dodgers game 1 win against Brian Snicker's Braves. So there's a lot of SEC talent out there, as you may imagine, as there always is in the postseason. 1st and 15.
1st and 15, following the penalty line of scrimmage is the 20.
They go 5 wide here. Remember, the tight end Pinckney has left the game. Empty backfield for Sherman. Over the middle. Nothing doing. Fantastic coverage. It was Lipscomb on the grab, but Monty Rice was right there and all over him.
That's just a way they can use the quick passing game as an extension of the run game. You don't have a tight end. You got Dobbs there to the right. You go 4 wide receivers. Nice, easy completion to try to keep the sticks moving when you already set yourself well behind.
Four-man rush. Shermer caught right at the sideline by Trey Ellis. And a first down for Vandy.
This is a great job. This is an audible. This is 2 plays called in a huddle. Georgia stacks the box with linebackers. Shermer flips it to the pass play and finds the void. That's the honey hole. Cover 2 to that side of the field. It's a high-low on DeAndre Baker. If he stays on the flat route, you have a nice window to throw that corner route. That's what Shermer found.
Shermer hands it off, and it'll be a loss of yardage for Jamari Wakefield. Julian Rochester comes limping off the field. Georgia's defense has already allowed 4 plays of 20 yards or longer.
And surprisingly, some of that movement has been in the run game. That's one thing coming in. I didn't think Vandy was going to be able to have much success at all running the football, but they've spread Georgia out. They've created space on the inside, and they've found some success doing that.
Balance attack for Vandy. Shermer 8 of 12 for 111. Georgia brings in extra man. Shermer setting up a screen. Nice play, Josh Crawford. He's got a Vandy first down. DeAndre Baker finally forces him out after a gain of 11.
I love what Andy Ludwig is doing right here. These are double calls. We talked to him about these type of plays. You see the coverage. That means they probably had 2 pass plays on, 1 concept downfield, 1 more of a screen, easy throw. And Shermer's going to figure out what coverage they're in, where they're playing, where the open space is, and flip it to the play that makes most sense. They have about 8 to 12 of those in every single game that Kyle Shermer can use.
Is that a play Shermer could have made as a freshman?
No, not at all. He started to turn the corner last year of understanding the mental side of the game.
Fastball knocked away by Baker on the outside.
And Ludwig has continued to give him more and more freedom as he's progressed.
Here's Andy Ludwig, the offensive coordinator, 4th season at Vandy. Middle of your screen with a headset on. Thought it was weird that you wore that hat to dinner last night. Jared George is the fullback here. We got timeout taken by Georgia. They've only given up 3 points, but Kirby Smart does not seem pleased with his defense. They seem out of sorts, despite the fact that they've held Vandy to just 3 points tonight.
Regions Bank halftime report right around the corner. Doring in Chiswick, Florida. Doring was right yet again. Drama in Columbia, South Carolina. Cats trying to stay unbeaten. Aggies trying to not let it happen. What do you think here?
I'd like to see Georgia run the ball a little bit more. They had some success on that last drive.
Andy's outgaining Georgia up to this point.
See how brief they can be, guys? Wow.
So jealous, Dari. I really am. 203 yards of offense for Vandy. 7 yards per play. Georgia's had a few quick strikes, including the 75-yard touchdown pass. Shermer changing it up. Lets it fly too high. Trying to find Sam Dobbs.
Just missed him there. Had a spot in the soft zone. That one came out a little hot. If there's one area that Shermer will miss, he'll occasionally miss high. Now 3rd and 10. Crowd's going to start getting into it.
Shermer with pressure at his feet delivers through traffic. It's another one to a tight window. C.J. Buller picks up 14 as Richard LeConte put him on his back. LeConte lost his helmet. He'll come out for a play.
This is a tight window. You're going to see the dig coming from this side in between these two linebackers. See, Shermer tries to keep his eyes downfield as long as he can to open that window, but that's not an easy throw, not an easy read. Looks open from up here, but I can assure you down there, that hole closes quickly.
Seems like every big throw Shermer has made tonight has been through a tight window. Hands it off to Wakefield. And Jamar Wakefield's able to pick up 3. Monty Rice on the stop. Clock ticking on Vandy. Remember they had that 11-play, 81-yard drive earlier that ate up more than 7 minutes, and they came away empty when they turned the ball over on downs.
And when you get these type of opportunities, when you're playing one of the best teams in the country, you can't settle for field goals. I know it's great to drive and take time off the clock. When you get in this situation, you have to get 6 if you have a chance of getting out of here with a W.
This will be the 9th play of the drive for Vanderbilt. Fullback is George in front of Wakefield. They run it on 2nd and 7. And that'll set up 3rd and about 4. Brenton Cox with the tackle for Georgia. Vanderbilt has won 33 plays tonight, 17 on the ground, 16 through the air.
I bet 15 of those on the ground have been that stretch play, Jordan. They have to be looking to build off of that particular play, something in the second half. A play action, some kind of reverse off that stretch play that takes the ball so far outside. Had a lot of success with it tonight.
Yeah, boot. We see Kyle Shermer get on the edge at times in their play action game. But if it's me, 3rd and 5 here, you already went for it on 1 4th down. Wouldn't be surprised if we see something short, knowing you might go for it again on 4th.
Play clock at 2. Georgia brings pressure. Shermer fires way high. It sailed on him again. Looking for Bowler. Georgia had brought in an extra defensive back right before the play when they saw the Vandy personnel. And so the Doors will try to convert on a long field goal.
Shermer, internal clock sped up a little bit there. He had some pressure around him, but still had a pocket to throw from. Just got a little rattled, sped up a little bit, and an errant throw was the result.
42-yard attempt for Riley Gay. He was missed all 3 of his attempts from 40-plus this season. But he drills that one, and Vandy, after going for it on 4th down on their last drive, takes the points here. 11-play, 51-yard drive here in the Classic City on a homecoming Saturday, and Georgia with the lead. This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, All-State will make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, All-State. Mississippi State scored right before the half. They took a 13-3 lead into the locker room against Auburn. Tigers have run 23 plays. They have 79 total yards. That offense continues to confuse. By the way, Georgia Redcoat Marching Band coming your way at the half. You can switch over to SEC Network Plus. Start streaming now on the ESPN app. We saw Justin Fields. Last possession for Georgia, he was on the field for 1 play on a handoff to Elijah Holyfield that turned into a touchdown. Ask Jake Fromm, how does it benefit you having been through a quarterback battle before? He was the hunter last year, he's the hunted this year, and he said it only helps improve his preparation, knowing that he needs to be perfect from a preparation standpoint. Really interesting that he's been on both sides of this now. And he pushes one out for a completion to Riley Ridley.
He's a pretty confident young man. I don't think he worries too much about what anybody else is doing. I think he's confident in what he does for this team, how good he can be, and he's just scratching at the surface of his potential. He's sat there as comfortable and confident as I've ever sat and talked to a kid.
This one's a big one. It's Isaac Naughta's first grab, and it gets Georgia deep into Vandy territory on a gain of 28.
It's these type of throws that are so impressive when I watch Jake Fromm. He's not going to rifle it in there like a guy that can throw it 70 yards, and he doesn't need to. It's the touch, it's the accuracy, it's seeing the field three-dimensionally. A window isn't something you have to throw it as hard as you can through. Sometimes up and around, changing trajectory. That's what he's so good at.
Goes right back to Naughta. Another first down for Georgia, that time 12. This time he goes to the other side, spreading it around to Mecole Hardman, but a flag down. It was on Vandy. It will be declined.
Defense, number 34. Penalty is refused. The result of the play is a first down. Got it. I got it.
Daria Dangbo just a step early. This is where Jake Fromm thrives. 2 minute. He's calling a lot of plays at the line of scrimmage, making adjustments, quick throws.
Vandy brings pressure. Fromm lobs it. End zone. Caught. Mecole Hardman out of the side of the end zone.
Just barely too far. Trying to find Mecole Hardman on the corner route. Great place. Maybe a foot too far towards the sideline, and Hardman can't quite get that foot down.
You like how Fromm responded to the pressure? $1:19 to go.
Told you. That's the confidence. Nothing phases him. Nothing.
Not even a fish hook in the calf. Same shot, bobbled and caught. Riley Ridley with the touchdown grab. Last 4 plays, he went to 4 different receivers.
And again, it's understanding leverage, understanding who you're throwing to, where to go with the ball. Riley Ridley, your 6'2", 200-pound target on the outside. He's got a huge wingspan. Juwan Williams playing over the top. That's the only place that ball gets completed, is back on Ridley's back shoulder and high into the outside. Great location, great throw, great finish there by Ridley.
Rodrigo Blankenship bangs through the point after. He's made 119 consecutive extra points. Fromm's jersey might be dirty, but the smile says it all. He has led Georgia to a 21-6 advantage.
He is spreading the ball around. We saw him hit Godwin earlier in the game on the big post for the touchdown. Just threw one to the end zone to Mecole Hardman and finding the matchup that he wanted. His big physical receiver and one-on-one coverage. Can't defend that throw, Tom.
We were talking with the Georgia players yesterday. One of the things they talked about from a defensive perspective is one of the drills they do regularly during the summer is try to defend the fade route. Good on good. Our receivers against our DBs. And so Fromm and Fields get plenty of reps throwing the fade.
Yeah. And actually even said that true freshman Tyson Campbell was one of the best out there. We're in the summer going, hey, who's this new true freshman? Let's show him a thing or two. And he was the best at defending the fade. With him and DeAndre Baker, Jake Fromm and Justin Fields get plenty of good-on-good reps against some of the better corners in this league.
Chance for a return. Here's Wakefield. They got tripped up at the 20 and a flag down. 1:09 remaining. You see Wakefield just anxious to make something happen. Could have taken a knee. Vandy looking for a spark.
Doing the return, holding, receiving team, number 88. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
At A&M tonight, Kentucky and A&M have combined for 9 punts already. They're tied at 7 with 6:20 to go in the third quarter. Here it's 21-6, Georgia leading Vanderbilt.
It's impressive by Kentucky. College Station, Kyle Field is a tough place to play. I wanted to see how Kentucky would respond to the adversity, and like you said, a tight game late into the third quarter.
Josh Allen already has a sack tonight. He had 3 the other night. Here's Keyshawn Vaughn. And Vaughn is able to pick up 3 or so on first down.
Vandy's got a timeout. They got a senior quarterback, but when you're backed up as far as you are, as far as Vandy is right now, that first play is kind of a gauge. If you get 10 or 15, you might start to push the tempo and try to make something happen. If you get stuffed, just be content letting this clock run off, not making any mistakes, going to the locker room and making those adjustments.
Georgia will get the ball to start the second half. Georgia's offense came into this game looking for explosiveness. They have found it. They've picked up 263 yards on only 26 plays. That's 10.1 yards per play.
21.
Dogs trying to stay undefeated. 5-0 on the season. They'll get the ball to start the second half. Kirby Smart's team gave up 230 yards of offense to Vandy, but they hauled them only to a pair of field goals. While there might be some frustrations in terms of the standard they've set from a defensive standpoint, all in all, a really good half to be head coach Kirby Smart, and that includes his visit with Cole.
Coach Smart, how did Jake Fromm perform in the first half?
They did a good job putting us in the right plays. They've jumped in a little different front, trying to stop the run. Got to be willing to throw the ball, and he's done a good job doing that.
Saw you spend a lot of time coaching up your secondary from the sideline. Take us through what some of those conversations were.
Yeah, we're not playing with very good discipline, not doing what you're supposed to do. Guys looking in the backfield, guys trying to make plays, just not playing our style of ball. Very disappointing half on defense.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
He knows something about defensive backs. Coached 7 first-rounders at Alabama. It's a 21-6 lead for Georgia. They've done it in every way possible, including the last touchdown and a great catch by Ridley. Let's get you to the studio. Here's Dari.
All righty, Tom, thank you much. Time for the Regions Bank halftime report. Chris Doring, Gene Chizik with me here. I love it when a team is up in the fashion Georgia is. Kirby Smart is still, there's plenty to work on. We heard this a couple of weeks ago against Missouri, and it's the same thing here. How do you assess the Dogs?
Well, I was happy to see their offense get rolling because remember, they've had slow starts the last couple of weeks. Today didn't quite get it going until those final 2 possessions, but I thought they ran the football well on that first possession there. They got them to the 14 points. And then the second one, as you heard Kirby talk about, they stopped the run. He was trying to move the football down the field with the passing game, and he was able to distribute it to all the talented weapons on the outside.
I like what Vandy's doing offensively. Right now, they're not getting away from the run game. We saw last week the run game really kicked in. They're not getting away from it, so they're running the ball well. I like the screen game.
Yeah.
Andy Ludwig's, he's really calling a good game. He's mixing in some screens. And Kyle Shermer's throwing it efficiently down the field. So I like the way they're moving the ball.
And they can continue to do that as long as they hold Georgia on that first possession of the second half that comes up. Stay within 2 scores. And
he stays up. Godwin dances into the end zone. Can't get rid of it before the pressure comes. Touchdown, Georgia. Ridley with the touchdown grab. Welcome back to SEC Saturday Night, presented by Holiday Inn Express. Kirby Smart was not pleased with his defensive execution in the first half. Got to be pleased with the way Jake Fromm's playing. 21-6, Georgia's lead as Derek Mason's squad looks to get things rolling offensively behind Kyle Shermer. Get back into this game. Welcome back, everybody. Tom Hart alongside Jordan Rogers. Cole Kublik's down on the sideline. If you're Georgia, this is exactly what you're looking for. Offensive execution and explosive plays.
Yeah, and even though Kirby was not happy with his defense, they did a good job with their backs against the wall, forcing Vandy into field goals. But you're right, the real story has been the explosiveness on offense. Jake Fromm pushing the ball downfield. Elijah Holyfield making plays. Chunk plays are the story of this game and Georgia's ability to get those.
One of those 14 completions for Jake Fromm was a 75-yard touchdown pass to Terry Godwin. That kind of got things rolling for Georgia. Justin Fields has played sparingly here through the first half. Perhaps we'll see him more in the second. Take you down the field level. Cole Kublik, who talked with Derek Mason a moment ago.
Tom, Coach Mason told me on the way out, we made 4 mistakes on defense in the first half. 1 on the Holyfield touchdown run, 1 on the big Fromm touchdown pass. He said he likes the way that his Commodores are playing defensively. On offense, need to capitalize more on scoring opportunities. He likes the run game, but says they have to come away with more points.
Yeah, they've settled for a couple of field goals, and one time they turned it over on downs after a really long drive. It ate up more than 7 minutes off the clock.
And he's true. I mean, he's right about the missed opportunities. You should have had Holyfield in the backfield. Your eyes got front side. You miss a tackle. And the big pass play, safety got his eyes in the backfield and got off its responsibility. Those are 2 plays that really could have been avoided by just doing what you're taught to do within the scheme.
DeAndre Swift with the carry. Looks like he's got one of Benny Snell's mouthpieces. Swift, the sophomore from Philly, starting the second half. Had a 100-yard game against Middle Tennessee State on only 8 carries a few weeks ago. Swift again. Well, he can make himself skinny quick. Dimitri Moore finally brings him down.
Dimitri Moore with his tackle. It's going to bring up 3rd and 1 for the Dogs.
3rd and 1 for Georgia. Brian Harrion is in the backfield now. Fromm will take the quarterback sneak. Fromm is on pace to shatter Hudson Mason's completion percentage record at Georgia. That's just shy of 68, and Fromm will come out for a play. And Justin Fields with a chance here, and they'll get him a fresh set of downs.
This is what we saw last week. Justin Fields coming on early in drives and getting an opportunity to move the ball all the way down the field.
Fields will throw, and he delivers a strike on his first attempt to Riley Ridley. Kirby Smart insisted, he said, and we got a flag late, well after the play. Kirby Smart insisted, said, I don't want to hear this talk about Justin Fields being a one-dimensional Wildcat quarterback that is in to run the game, to run the ball. He can do more than that, and he will do more than that. But one of the issues standing in his way is they played in so many blowouts, they don't want to throw the ball when Fields is in the game late.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 53 on the offense. 15-yard penalty, second down.
That's Lamont Gilliard, the Georgia center.
That's the only senior on that offensive line, guys. 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores in there with him right now.
Number 53. And so Fields now facing, put Fromm back in now with 2nd and 15. After the play, Gilliard with a shove on Drew Birchmeyer.
It's always the second guy. Don't know what was said or if there was a shove before that, but as Cole mentioned, the senior on that offensive line, got to know to stop after this.
What a stiff arm by Elijah Holy. He powers his way to a gain of 10.
And that penalty is too bad because a great throw by Justin Fields might have kept the momentum going and keep him in the game, but you get backed up, you got to bring your quarterback back in that can handle the entire playbook. That's what you mentioned, Tom. They're giving Justin Fields the opportunity to continue to grow, but right now Jake Fromm is ahead of him as far as what they can call and having access to the entire playbook.
3rd down 6. Wow, Miko Hardman starts sprinting down Tanyard Creek. It turns into a gain of 27.
This is an underrated part of Jake Fromm's game, the ability to throw off platform. His feet, his body were moving one direction, and you're going to see him throw to the opposite. Starts right, moves left, feet aren't set, flips it out there, little sidearm.
Batted down that time by Daya Odebango.
You know, as I watch film on Jake Fromm, evaluating him as a quarterback, he does a great job of these off-platform throws. Makes you wonder, and I asked him, what position did you play in baseball? He said third base. He said, it makes sense. You know, he's got a guy, middle infielder, third baseman, used to that 3-quarter release, used to flipping it out as fast as they can.
Hit 3 home runs in the Little League World Series back in 2011. The Warner Robins Little League. Also was a star in the mound. Here's Swift. The versatile Swift is run by everybody. Whoa! DeAndre Swift weaves his way to a 35-yard touchdown.
That's why DeAndre Swift is so dangerous. Used him as a slot receiver last year to get him on the field with a loaded backfield because he's a good route runner. He's got great hands, and he's dynamic with the ball in his hands. That play was made by Jake Fromm. Looked right the entire time, and at the last second flipped his hips and gave DeAndre Swift a one-on-one situation and a lot of green grass.
DeAndre Swift out of North Philadelphia. Beautiful vision and elite speed. Georgia rolling, 28-6 dog. I'm guessing Darren Swift has the ESPN app already looking back at DeAndre's touchdown. They burst of speed. He went by every Vandy defender. 28-6, the Georgia lead.
And everybody we're showing tonight has just enormous biceps.
Yeah, you caught on? It's not like they skip leg day either.
I do.
What day?
On that last touchdown, tried to fake a little quick screen to Ridley. You're going to see Mecole Hardman going down there trying to hit this, flowing backside, and Swift just leaks, and really the play is made because the movement backside draws all the defenders, but Fromm starts, pumps to his right, moves everybody, and anytime you give DeAndre Swift a lot of green grass and a one-on-one with a linebacker, he's going to win that nearly every single time. Dimitri Moore there, number 7. Not a great angle also.
Blocking by Terry Godwin downfield. Vandy and Keyshawn Vaughn trying to get some space, and Vaughn powers his way right through Tyson Campbell for a gain of 13. A&M just scored. They're up 14-7 on Kentucky. Jay Sternberger, the tight end, with a 46-yard touchdown catch. 10 minutes to go in that one.
Really impressed with Vandy's offensive line. The double teams have got to the second level to get bodies on linebackers. Keyshawn Vaughn has had some holes. Kari Blasingame has had some holes. It's Vandy offensive line playing better than I'd seen on tape for the first few games of this year.
Flag on the play. Completion to Chris Pierce. Turns into a gain of 8.
Illegal formation. Offense. 5 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
For A&M, it's not just that Jay Sternberger caught a touchdown. It's how he did it. Dari will show you.
Well, Tom, you already described it. Now here's the pictures, right? Kellen Mond back to pass, and a tie game ball is tipped, and it finds its way to Sternberger for the Aggies score. Kentucky trails, trying to stay unbeaten. 10 and change to go, guys.
That was an amazing confluence of events for Texas A&M. Sternberger's been sensational. Another flag on the play. Vaughn to the outside.
Illegal formation. Offense. 5 players in the backfield.
Again?
5-yard
That's the 4th
penalty.
time tonight.
Still first down.
And that's new wide receivers coach Aaron
Got
Moorhead.
it.
Was at Texas A&M. They got to get these young receivers to know who's supposed to be on the ball, who's supposed to be off. If you're off, you look over, point at the ref, make sure he knows that you're off. And if you're on, you do the same thing. Have a true freshman, a true sophomore, a couple young receivers that don't have a ton of experience out there, just not lining up right. Unacceptable.
Got it right this time. Shermer dancing around. Here comes the pressure. And incomplete. Jared Pinkney is back on the field, and that's good news for Vanderbilt.
Really good news. He opens up what they're able to do, both running the football, passing the football. He's going to take a break here and go to the sideline as Vandy brings in an extra receiver.
Pinkney returned late second quarter, right before the half. We missed about 9 minutes of the second quarter. Second down, 20. Wakefield. Gain of 7.
Jordan mentioned it. Those double teams at the point of attack in the zone scheme. Zone scheme's been great. Split zone there as you see the tight end cuts back across the opposite direction of the zone, sort of freezes the linebackers for just a moment. So you really only have to get that movement at the point of attack if you're going to put your helmet down and get north and south.
Vanderbilt is 2 of 7 on third down tonight. This is a long one. 3rd and 13. Georgia plays it safe. Shermer incomplete. Batted down by Mark Webb. Shermer and Webb faced off against each other in high school. Webb was at Archbishop Wood, and Shermer coming out of Philadelphia, both Philly guys.
Georgia in a 2-safety shell, which means that middle of the field is wide open. This is the matchup they want. They want Pinckney down the middle of the field, but Webb in perfect coverage there to break that up. Nowhere to go with the ball.
Watch out for Mecole Hardman back to return. Hardman will take it off a hop for the second time tonight and go his way. 51-yard punt. -1 on the return. And we got a flag on the far sideline. Let's take a look at Fansville, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Another great crowd on hand at Sanford Stadium between the hedges. I noticed Kirby didn't have to get on his student section by coming out for the game. It is homecoming, young and old alike. Enjoying this one. That's never seen a dab like that.
I wonder what the equivalent of dabbing would have been back in the day.
I don't know. We had a penalty as we went to break. A block out of bounds on the kick return, and unsportsmanlike. And it cost Georgia 15 yards. It was Tyler Simmons. And right at the top of your screen around the 35-yard line. Got all the way across the apron. So Georgia backed up. Justin Fields in a quarterback. #1 dual threat quarterback coming out of Harrison High School in Kennesaw, Georgia. Here comes the blitz. Fields hands it off. It's another big gain with Holyfield, with Fields taking the snap.
Again, can't understate that runs like that are partially, yes, because of the blocking up front, but you see the eyes on Justin Fields. 2 guys making sure they know if he keeps it, they're there. That's what an athletic quarterback does to the zone read.
After the incompletion, it leaves 3rd and 1. We'll go with the short yardage setup here. Nauta back on the field along with Harrion.
It's a good sign here. Last week on a 3rd and 1, they brought Jake Fromm back into the game to replace Justin Fields. Feeling more and more comfortable with a larger portion of the playbook here. Or just a QB sneak.
Yeah. Gain of 3. Did you get the feeling that Kirby Smart was, I don't know if offended is the right word, but a little bit perturbed that people were describing Justin Fields as a wildcat quarterback, like a guy who can only run the football?
Yeah, and I think he knew. It's like, look, we've had a few plays that we bring him in for, but we are training him in practice and good on good reps to be a passing quarterback, to be a college quarterback, not just a package guy. So we're going to see more and more opportunities for him to throw the ball.
Looking for his tight end. He finds him. This is Charlie Werner for a first down. And Werner wants a little bit more. Werner could have easily stepped out of bounds after the first down. Instead, he rumbles for a 24-yard gain and multiple flags after the play.
They might have got Georgia again on a second push.
You're going to replace right guard Cade Mays with Justin Schaefer. Kirby Smart saw from the get-go, immediately pulled him out of the game.
Came late to the party there to try to clean it up, and a little too late.
After the play was over, a sportsmanlike conduct foul. Offense, number 77. 15-yard penalty. Will be second down.
O-line coach Sam Pittman was right there. Chatting with Cade Mays, too, at a Knoxville Catholic.
The game. It'll be first down.
Kirby Smart has a bit of an edge to him. Coach is kind of like he played, I should say, back in the day. Kind of like his previous boss, Nick Saban, even though they're undefeated, it's almost like he needs something to continue to be able to get on his team about. To hold that edge. Here's Brian Harrion.
That's what all the good ones do. Always find a way to fight against complacency, find something to nitpick at or to improve upon.
To right side of your screen, number 77 coming in. Whoa.
That's where the penalty was. Can't do that.
Well after the whistle.
Yeah, you want your guys to play with emotion. You want them to back up their boys in those scrums, but you got to be smart about it as well. Can't have that. He's just a true freshman. Cade Mays, he'll learn.
Here's the freshman Fields. Gain of 8 and another flag.
You mentioned Kirby Smart having a little edge. I don't think I've ever been around a defensive coach that didn't have a little edge to him.
Good point.
Especially a defensive head coach.
Just think about the coaches in this league. Barry Odom and Will Muschamp.
After the play was over, personal foul, targeting, number 14 on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down. The previous play is under further review.
Max Worship is a freshman out of Cardinal Gibbons High School in Fort Lauderdale.
Another true freshman. I feel like on a lot of these targeting plays, not always, but we see young guys. That right there is a quarterback that is giving himself up. An emphasis now, if a quarterback's going into a slide, yes, he's a runner, but as soon as he goes feet first, you got to give up. You got to get out of the way as much as possible. That's a close one.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand they're trying to get that out of the game, right?
Yeah.
Lowering your helmet or just going down on a quarterback that's giving himself up. There's not a lot of forcible contact there.
Yeah, we want to take violent hits out of the game. We want to take helmet-to-helmet hits out of the game. And I certainly understand that. And this rule has changed behavior, and that's a good thing. I don't know if I'm Max Worship's coaches, if I can really get on him about that. You've got essentially a running back.
Yeah.
I know he's giving himself up, but he's a running back who's going down, and you're coming in to make a play as he's going down. When you slow it down, it doesn't look very good. But
the ruling is that there is no targeting. Number 14 of the defense can remain in the game. First down.
And I think that's a really good call. And like I said, I didn't see forcible contact.
Yeah.
Right? You got to check off a certain number of boxes. The first one being an indicator. Was the helmet lowered, crown in the helmet, forcible contact? Didn't really have the first two. I don't think he
Was there
lowered.
a launch?
Was there a launch? Yeah. The forcible contact really wasn't there. Tough to ask a guy to go in one or two steps from, I'm going to tackle this ball carrier, to, oh no, he's sliding. Yeah.
Deep ball. It's a beauty, but it's too strong. Trying to find Stanley, and Fields got his helmet knocked off after he let it go.
Yeah, this one doesn't feel good. It's a nickel blitz off the edge, but it really comes from up the middle on a second reaction there by Josh Smith. His second move got him to the quarterback, and Fields did a great job of standing in there and delivering a strike downfield. Just missed his receiver.
Jake Fromm back in at quarterback. Blitz coming up the middle for Vandy. Fromm reads it perfectly, and he delivers it to Riley Ridley for a gain of 9.
We're starting to see Vanderbilt's scheme pay off. I talked to Derek Mason. What do you want to try to do to get after the quarterback to stop the run? He said he wanted to create one-on-one situations. If you look, Vandy's going a lot of 5-down guys or walking the linebacker up, meaning all these offensive linemen now are blocking one-on-one, and the next guy you bring is going to have a free shot to the quarterback.
Here's Swift. Beautiful move. Cuts it back inside for a first down. Kentucky just got a scoop and score. They're a point after away from tying it at Kyle Field.
You guys mentioned those protection issues. The Georgia coaching staff, both Kirby Smart and offensive coordinator Jim Chaney, telling us that pass protection was a concern of theirs coming into this football game. Another reason Derek Mason and company dialing up these blitzes.
Well, yeah, it's some of that youth, right? I mean, you got Cade Mays and Isaiah Wilson who haven't played a ton of football. Now you add Trey Hill in there. When Solomon Kindley went down, there's a lot of youth on that offensive line.
And a youth at quarterback. Fields on a 10th play of the drive. Rushes for a first down.
That'll solve some of your protection issues right there.
I was just about to say, again, Vanderbilt bringing a blitz, getting a guy to disrupt the pocket, and that's what's special about having a quarterback that's athletic. That's what Kirby Smart mentioned. With the youth they have at O-line, sometimes you need a guy that can turn something out of nothing.
Yeah, and isn't it a two-part situation here? Not only solving protection issues, as Cole mentioned. Now he goes to the slant, and it's incomplete. But also, it's beneficial to solve protection issues with a quarterback who wants to throw but can run, and also a guy who can just flat be a running back.
He's a playmaker, man. And that's why he was rated and highly touted as he was. And we saw the arm talent. Even though he missed, where he took that big hit in the pocket, that ball traveled 50, 55 yards downfield outside the numbers. He can hit anywhere on the field, and you can see just what he does with his legs.
Vandy brings pressure again, and that time they're there to make the stop on James Cook, who gets his first carry, but for no gain.
These are really good, valuable reps for Justin Fields. Kirby Smart wanted some opportunity to get him in when he could be a quarterback, right? And Vandy is dialing up nickel blitzes. They're bringing guys up the middle. They're going 5 down, changing the protection schemes. These are valuable reps for Justin Fields in learning how to do what Jake Fromm does so well, which is control the protections and control the plays before the snap occurs.
Pressure again. Fields gets taken down for a Vanderbilt sack. Josh Smith in on the stop. By the way, after a long delay due to a Travion Williams injury, Kentucky has added the extra point. Over on ESPN, they're tied with Texas A&M at 14.
You're going to see some pressure, and you're going to see an outlet receiver come right here. That's the next iteration for Justin Fields, understanding where your answers are, right? He looks to run. His receiver's open there. That's your answer. That's what Jake Fromm's so good at, knowing I got pressure, where's my outlet? That's what Fields will start to learn.
Rodrigo Blankenship got the biggest ovation from the crowd when the team was announced pregame, and he's on now to attempt a 53-yarder.
Timeout.
Vandy takes a timeout.
Vanderbilt.
Blankenship looking to bang a long one. When we
Gary Noka in studio, an incredible turn of events in College Station. A&M 4.5 minutes from giving Kentucky its first loss when the Aggies fumble loose ball picked up by Darius West, who takes it to the house. Kentucky and A&M tied at 14, guys.
Yeah, Dari, Kentucky's defense continues to impress. Another sack there for Josh Allen just moments ago. And here's Rodrigo Blankenship lining up for a 53-yarder. He had a career-long 55-yarder in the Rose Bowl last year. Drifting, got the leg, and it fits right through. The most popular player on the team celebrates in front of all of his buddies.
Boy, that would have been good from 63. Yes. Look at the leg.
A bat for a former walk-on. Kirby said, why spend a scholarship on a kicker? Get them all in here. Let's see who's best. I think he's best. Hot Rod does it again. Hot Rod getting the kick off now. 31-6, Georgia with the lead. He's 8 of 10 on field goals this season and one of the nation's best in touchbacks. Another touchback. Going all the way out of the back of the end zone. And Cole, there's a little trophy for special teamers who do something right.
They call it the 111 special teams bone. You make a play on special teams, you come off, grab a bone. Rodrigo Blankenship got one for that bomb of a field goal.
For a second, I thought it was like a championship belt.
I did too. I did too from that angle. Did you hear when he was announced before the game?
Oh, people love it.
Went nuts. Respect the specs. That's the hashtag. Kyle Shermer's got some work to do. 10 of 19. 139 through the air.
The layup game. Offense, number 14. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Eric Mason's going to have some cleaning up to do this next week in practice. Formation penalties, 3 or 4 of them. Delay of games by your senior quarterback. Too many times Vanderbilt is putting themselves behind the sticks with no reason.
Shermer, quick release and a monster hit put on Lipscomb by J.R. Reed, and the crowd reacting to the flag. By the way, Benny Snell just ran for a first down. Kentucky and A&M tied at 14 with 1:17 to go in College Station. Kentucky trying to rally for a win. Let's see what the flag was all about.
Personal foul, targeting. Defense, number 32, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. The previous play is under further review.
It's Monty Rice who got called for the targeting.
That's a great decision by Shermer. He's not hot here, he's warm. They have a guy to block the blitzer, but he replaces the pressure.
Well, they just had the number wrong. Sorry to clear it up. It was J.R. Reed, 20, not 32.
Puts it a little too far out in front. And this is great. I'm okay calling this on the field because it happens so bang, bang. But this is why instant replay and targeting is reviewed, because I don't think this is targeting. Trying to make a play on the ball. Doesn't launch. Crown of the helmet doesn't lower. There's forcible contact, but he's making a play on the ball. That's why these are reviewed. I don't think this one's targeting. Again, a great read, great decision by Shermer, but that ball, anytime you have pressure, the blitzer leaves, you got to know someone's going to replace that. Be safe and put that ball on your receiver's body. Don't lead him in to a defender that's rolling down to replace the blitzer.
After review, there is no targeting on the play. It'll be second down. Number 32 can remain in the game.
Which is good because it wasn't 32 to begin with. So that must be relieved.
And the other ref even told him it's 20.
Yeah.
It's all right. That's okay.
Both stick around.
But
but it would be costly. They got LSU next week. That would be the first half next week.
Good job by the officials. It's a bang-bang. I'm okay throwing the flag knowing you can review it, sort it out, and get the right call.
Second down, 15. Lipscomb in motion. He's got only 2 catches tonight. Complete to Blasingame for a gain of 8.
Georgia's made it really tough. Elijah Lipscomb. They got 2 really talented corners, DeAndre Baker, Tyson Campbell. They've been following Elijah Lipscomb around. First 4 games of the season, he's had 10 catches, 9. I mean, he has been a machine. And as much as Vandy wants to go to him, they have not been able to get him the ball. You're going to see him in the slot on this one, trying to get him away from Baker and Campbell. Right there.
He's only been targeted 4 times. Pressure. Shermer in traffic. Over the top of Chris Pierce. And they'll have to punt it away. 13 seconds left in College Station. Kentucky and Texas A&M are tied at 14, and Kentucky waiting to punt it away.
You're going to see pressure get in the face of Shermer. He's got somewhere to go with the ball. He tries to go Kalijah over the middle of the field. It's not there, but that pressure gets in his face, not able to follow through. Ball comes out high.
Parker Tomian again. Mecole Hardman back. Hardman from the 21. Big seam. And taken down at the 45. 50-yard punt. 23 on the return. Let's take a look at Georgia's upcoming road schedule, brought to you by Pilot Flying J. It doesn't get very easy. They go to LSU next week. LSU fell on the road to Florida today, and then in Jacksonville, a Florida team that all of a sudden looks a whole lot better today than they did a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, Florida really figuring things out. I mean, we knew the talent was always there. Defense is dynamic. If they can catch up and start to execute Todd Grantham's plan, big win today against LSU.
Florida's defense the last 3 games, 26 tackles for loss, and they've only allowed 4 touchdowns. On the season, they have 16 takeaways.
26 TFLs?
Yep. He was a little excited after the game, wasn't he?
He was fired up.
Look at his speed. DeAndre Swift finally taken down after a gain of 24.
He just hits this hole with such speed. Lamont Gilliard there with a great block to seal that and open it up. Again, though, more valuable time for Justin Fields out there.
Swift averaging better than 7 yards a carry. Fields on play action. Looking for a post route. That's covered up. Sideline grab by Godwin. And they say he is inbounds. Caught for a first down on a gain of 21.
On the side, that is,
wow, that's beautiful.
That is really good. Really, really good. Great to see Terry Godwin getting involved. We saw the touchdown earlier in the game. As I said, just 4 receptions for 46 yards coming into this game.
Looks like they want to take another look at it upstairs.
Ruling on the field is a completed pass for a first down. The previous play is under further review. Vanderbilt is not charged with a timeout.
By the way, A&M and Kentucky tied at 14. Only 2 seconds left in that one in A&M's football. And they'll have a chance for one more play and maybe a Hail Mary over there to try to hand the Cats their first loss. Looks good to me. Did he control it all the way through? Yeah.
Sometimes when you look at the feet and it's that clear, you wonder if he bobbled it as the receiver's taking it to his chest, but firm control right to the chest. It's a great catch. No, it's funny, right before that play started, Justin Fields was in shotgun, and Swift goes, no. Pushes him in the back. No, you're supposed to be under center. Those are some of those things that an inexperienced quarterback, sometimes you don't call, whether it's in shotgun or under center.
After
Quarterbacks
review,
just got to know.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. First down.
A&M's Hail Mary came up empty. They're going to overtime there, and as we expected, another grab for Terry Godwin, who had a 75-yard touchdown pass early, touchdown catch early in this game. 329 yards through the air for Georgia. Fromm's got 276 of those yards, along with 3 touchdowns. Fields hands it off. Here's Harrion. And he'll take it to the goal line, and the whole pile goes over. Touchdown, Georgia. 12-yard physical run for Brian Harrion.
That's a great physical run by Harrion.
Ruling on the field was a fumble by Georgia, recovered by Georgia in the end zone, touchdown.
But if they're handing out TDs, that offensive line, each one of them.
That's where the ball came out.
And it's down there. Do we have a clear recovery is the thing.
Well, they ruled it was recovered by Georgia. By the way, that's right at the feet of a Vanderbilt player at the time, and then into Harrion's hands. What do we call that from last week? That's hungry, hungry hippo. It's winning again.
That comes right out. No one even knows it's out until it gets kicked.
2 guys knew it was out. Graham and Dirk are sensational cameramen. They were all over it.
Well, yeah, all over it. I'm here marveling at the offensive line, shoving Harrion into the end zone.
Ball start. Offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty. We'll redo the try.
By the way, last 5 Georgia possessions, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Field goal, touchdown. That is pretty efficient. A little bit further back for Blankenship now. $38-6. Let's check in with Dari.
All right, let's satisfy a post-game craving brought to you by Velveeta Shells and Cheese. Big congrats to Dan Mullen and Florida. They get the 27-19 win over LSU. Mullen is the 5th Florida head coach post Steve Spurrier, but the first to win his first game against LSU. Guys, by the way, A&M and Kentucky headed to overtime.
Yeah, that's a fun one at Kyle Field. By the way, Florida's defense today, 5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss. Voshon Joseph, 14 tackles, 2 sacks, 3.5 of them behind the line of scrimmage.
He was all over the place. But you know what that means? Les Miles has got to wear Spurrier's visor now. They had to bet.
Oh,
if Florida would have lost, Spurrier would have had to eat some grass.
Here's the result of the last 5 possessions for Georgia. We need more retired coach on retired coach bets going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good, right?
That's good.
Yeah, that's what they want to do. They want to score when they get the ball, and they're doing it. Deep.
Yeah, deep thoughts by Jordan Rogers. Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central, the SEC Nation Traveling Pregame Show with Laura, Marcus, Paul, Tim, and Lauren. We'll be in Auburn for Tennessee and Auburn to break down everything from the gridiron to the grill. For Week 7 of the college football season, SEC Nation presented by Johnsonville, right here on the SEC Network, also streaming live on the ESPN app. An interesting game next week. Noon kick between Auburn and Tennessee. And that game, with Auburn losing to Mississippi State, almost becomes, dare I say, an afterthought.
That's interesting. Interesting just from the standpoint of where we thought those programs were going to be.
Yeah.
Right. And Tennessee against Georgia actually was tough on defense for a while. I mean, it took Georgia a while to get going, and Auburn struggling on offense. That could be interesting.
Auburn's really struggling. They trail Mississippi State 16-9 tonight. 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter there. Nick Fitzgerald, another huge run for Mississippi State. Shermer over the middle. Brilliant catch on a ball that was behind the receiver.
Surprised we haven't seen more shots downfield by Vanderbilt. It's kind of what they make their money on in the passing game. Georgia's doing a really good job of playing a two-deep shell, staying over the top of everything, keeping Kyle Shermer and these receivers in front, and rallying to tackle.
3rd and 2. Incomplete. Batted down by Richard LeCount. Pardon me. Jared Pinckney was the intended receiver.
That's just a really good play. Really good play. Great ball by Shermer. Had Pinckney there, but LeCount comes at the last second and breaks it up. Shermer's frustrated today. I mean, just had opportunities early, didn't capitalize, and you have those opportunities early, you don't take advantage, usually don't come around again against a team like Georgia.
All the phones are already lit. As we wait to go to the fourth quarter, one more snap to get us there. Fair catch taken at the 21-yard line. 45-yard punt. To the fourth we go, and everybody's going to have to charge their phones later. And now let's take a look at our 15 minutes or less, brought to you by Geico.
Story of the game, chunk plays for Georgia. Fromm has been on point all game. Terry Godwin, a couple of huge plays in the pass game. And this guy, Holyfield, making a miss. He's supposed to be the bruiser, showing off that top end speed. And again, the accuracy in the red zone. Jake Fromm, and then your guy.
My guy from 53.
Hot Rod.
Give him the bone.
Throw those guys a bone.
A whole lot of special teamers were getting sideline trophies. Another big run. This is James Cook, the freshman. All the way down Tanier Creek and gone. 78-yard sprint.
Looking like the older brother on that one.
Keeps that up. Dalvin will be his brother instead of him being Dalvin's.
Man, all you got to do is give me the ball. I score every time I touch it. That's what he's telling guys on the sideline.
Yeah. First touchdown for the freshman out of Miami Central.
Well, Chaney said he's the most explosive guy they got. They just have a full backfield. Can't get him the ball a ton.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown. The previous play is under further review.
Did you know there's a creek that runs under Sanford Stadium? It runs from here into the Little Oconee, which ends up at the Oconee and therefore eventually near Nick Saban's lake house. But I digress. The creek runs about 9 feet under the playing surface in a culvert, and that creek runs parallel to the near sideline. So as James Cook takes off up the sideline, he's running right over the top of the creek. He may have had his foot in the water at, what's that, the 37?
Yeah. See a shot here. Well, the heel's up, but it looks like the inside of his foot barely grazes that white. Is that enough for you?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I thought on the first look, I thought he was out.
Yeah, but on that look, it's hard to tell how much of the heel is actually up. This might give us a good idea.
Yeah, see, I thought it was I thought it was.
Well, I mean, from behind, it looks like his whole foot's almost over it, but that's because the heel's up and his toe is in. But it's hard to tell if the inside of his foot there is on the line.
There's green there, but one more frame, the green disappears. I think he's out, but it must be indisputable. Good point about the heel being up.
Yeah. You're right there. It looks like he's way out, but I believe that's just off the ground. Again, tough to tell. That's a good look right there. Look at that. Just the inside of that foot.
Nevertheless, next time we come back, you want to float Tanya Creek with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like shooting the hooch. We'll have a good time.
You got your own floaties?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's weird.
Tom affords that thing like Oregon Trail back in the day.
As long as you can put up with all the critters that are in there.
Well, they might take this one away from Cook, but
and they're probably looking at clock.
Yeah. Doesn't take away from this the fact that he's that dynamic and he's got that ability to break away anytime he touches the ball. Exciting young player.
After review, the ruling is that the ball carrier stepped out of bounds at the minus 44-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Georgia. Please reset the game clock to 14 minutes, 55 seconds. Thank you.
I thought it was on the other side. I thought it was down on this side of the field. Wait a second. You got the ball at the wrong 44-yard line. Oh well, 32-point game, but that is a fairly big mistake for the replay booth and the guys in the field to spot it at the completely wrong 44-yard line.
Well, they got almost all of it back there on that play. No, they're right there. They're right.
Oh, they're right.
They're right.
Like we said,
Stripes
these guys are doing a fantastic job.
Stripes had it. We're up here talking about tubing down a creek, and they're should let them do their job.
They're actually paying attention to the game. Let's check in with the studio.
All right, guys, congratulations to Nick Fitzgerald. This 39-yard run pushed him over 165 in the game, and he is now the SEC's all-time leading rusher among quarterbacks, breaking Tim Tebow's career record. Mississippi State up a touchdown, getting late.
I don't think that ruined Tebow's day. He had a pretty good one going into the Ring of Honor down at the Swamp. By the way, A&M finished off Kentucky in overtime. 20-14 was the final, after Kentucky missed a 43-yard go-ahead field goal with a shot up the crossbar. James Cook, again, this time inbounds for a gain of 13.
Well, he wants to keep getting. He wants to get that touchdown back.
That was made by Ladarius Wiley.
Fields 3 of 6 through the air for 53 yards tonight. Here's Cook again. And here is Dari again.
All righty, Tom, here is how it ended. After Miles Butler for Kentucky missed a 43-yard field goal, left it short. Travion Williams into the end zone for the Aggies. Kentucky is unbeaten. No more.
High drama, Kyle Field. What a start still for Kentucky. You feel now that people are going to jump off the bandwagon from a national perspective, but that's a team that could give Georgia all they want when they go up there the first weekend of November.
I was going to say, that doesn't make me any less confident about Kentucky and where they're at. Now, I don't think they're on the level of Georgia, but that's a tough game on the road. hostile environment against a good Texas A&M football team.
Matthew Downing has entered the game at quarterback for Georgia with 12 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Plenty of reserves getting an opportunity, including Prather Hudson, sophomore out of Columbus, Georgia. And Kentucky still controls its destiny in the East, right? You get Georgia head-to-head. Georgia's got LSU and Auburn still remaining on the schedule.
When you think about the way that Kentucky football team plays, the chip they have on their shoulder, the lack of respect that they feel they get week in and week out, that'll only build that part of that football team.
Yeah, you never want to lose, but Kentucky is definitely the kind of team from a mental standpoint that's going to use that every day in practice to try to get some sort of revenge.
Downing finds Jaden Hunter, and that's good for a Georgia first down.
And again, the good thing for Kentucky, they still have an opportunity to go to Georgia.
Kwame Jackson Harris, this 88 with the catch. James Cook lined up behind Matthew Downing, the freshman out of Alpharetta High School. Here's Cook. Picks up a pair.
Like, guy I keep my eye on here as these young bucks get in. Jamari Sawyer playing left guard here. The true freshman, he's mauling people. 6'4", 325. I mean, he's got a couple good blocks already on this drive. And I know Cole loves his offensive lineman. Cole, this kid mauling people. Love it.
The second time out of the half.
38-6. We'll let Cole talk about the mauling. Maybe more Cole cuts. Don't go anywhere.
10 miles from downtown Athens is Pablo's Polleria, where the chicken and ceviche take hungry workers back home to Peru. The true South is found out past the city limit signs.
You can catch True South, a 30-minute Southern food and culture show every Tuesday at 7 Eastern on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Next time we come to town, I'm going to take you to Weaver D's, okay? We'll go out there, we'll go to Weaver D's.
What's Weaver D's?
Best food you'll have.
What kind of food?
A little bit of everything. Soul food, Southern. They're closed on Mondays, though. Been around for 31 years. It's not like we ever have a bad meal, though.
I was going to say, we've had some good food already in Athens.
Cook is the tailback. High snap. And they'll just fall on it.
Cook actually reached back and tipped that ball out of Downing's hands.
Oh, high snap here. Trying to do a quick handoff, so that high snap throws off all the timing. And you're right, Cole Cook tried to grab it as he passed. Didn't help.
Trey Hill is the center. Downing facing pressure, fires in zone, out of bounds, incomplete, and into the hedges, well into the hedges. Here is Jackson has to get pulled right out of it.
Just barely missed.
There is a chain link fence inside those hedges, and a little bit of help from his friend.
He gets stuck in there.
Oh.
Downing left it just a little outside.
It's like a ground rule double at Wrigley. Yeah. Just throw up your hands and don't play it. Into the ivy. 28-yard attempt now for Rodrigo Blankenship. Did you like that play that Jim Chaney drew up?
Loved it. One of my favorite concepts in the red zone. Should have knocked on the glass and dialed that one up earlier.
Through the hands and into the shrubbery. There is between the hedges, there is outside the hedges, and finally someone inside the hedges.
SEC Saturday Night is presented by Holiday Inn Express. Be the readiest.
Welcome back. Sanford Stadium, Athens, Georgia, under the lights on this homecoming. And Georgia looking for another homecoming victory. They didn't get it last time Vandy was in town. They're going to move to 77 and 18 on homecoming since 1922.
We played that homecoming spoiler role quite often at Vandy.
You had plenty of opportunities, right?
Tried to. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Let's take a look at the road to the championship. Brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Every game is important in the SEC, but a couple of key ones today, including Florida knocking off LSU 27-19. Michael Pirine with a touchdown run about midway through the fourth quarter to take a 20-14 lead in the pick six late. A&M beat Kentucky. It took overtime for A&M to pull off the victory. Travion Williams, 138 yards and a touchdown in overtime for the win. Kentucky has an open week next week. A&M goes to South Carolina, 3:30 on the SEC Network. We'll be in Little Rock for Ole Miss, who set a school record for offense today, taking on Arkansas. I'm going to take you to the Big Dam Bridge next week. That's what we're going to do in Little Rock. The longest pedestrian bridge in the world, and it's right next to a dam.
We got to walk over it?
No, we'll rent some bikes.
Okay, I was going to say, come on. I'm not trying to get a workout.
No, overrated. Second down, 6. Three-man rush. Georgia will drop 8. Kyle Shermer has grown into his role as a quarterback at Vandy. Played about midway through his freshman season, and he's a guy that sees the game well. And of course, you get to your senior year versus your freshman year, everything slows down for you.
Yeah, and you start from a better position than most guys. I mean, his dad's the head coach of the Giants, grew up around the game, grew up in NFL meeting rooms as a kid, so he understood the game from a very young age. It takes some time when you're young in your in the SEC. Everything moves a little faster, but he's a good quarterback. The score doesn't reflect it right now. And Vandy's outmatched in a lot of these games, but he's a good player.
He's able to find C.J. Bollard here for a first down on a gain of 11. Shermer 14 for 26 tonight. $169. Mississippi State's all over Auburn. They've held the Tigers just 9 points tonight. 23-9 State. And another sack of Jarrett Stidham. Where, Cole, has that Auburn offense disappeared to? Fitting answer, I think. 41-6 here.
Cole's at Weaver's.
Weaver D's, yeah, he might be. Or 5 Bar. How about that meal last night?
Needed more shrimp.
Last resort the night before. Deep ball Shermer. Too much. Trying to find Donovan Tennyson. Mississippi State has run for 353 yards tonight. Fitzgerald's got 195 of those.
Crazy because Mississippi State couldn't get anything going against Kentucky. Not on the ground, not through the air. And Auburn's defense is no joke.
Yeah.
Or at least I thought so until this game. They really can't figure things out right now on either side of the ball.
There is nowhere to hide in this conference. You will be exposed at one point or another. Shermer running out of space. And he gets up holding his left ankle.
Number 56, Adam Anderson.
Working to his right. Great job spinning around, escaping pressure and getting rid of the ball. Looks like his leg gets caught underneath the body there.
Gary Godwin will be the lead man for the Dogs. Coming in punt formation.
Derek Godwin back to return for Georgia. And a 75-yard touchdown catch to give Georgia the lead. A lead they have not relinquished. 42-yard punt. We'll see who touches the ball for Georgia next.
ESPN.
Back to SEC Saturday night, presented by Holiday Inn Express, 41-6 Georgia. Let's go down to the field. Looks like Cole's ready to bring it on.
Tom, it's a family affair here between the hedges, and not just because it's an SEC East rivalry. We've got Anna Lee, a senior at Vanderbilt, Mary Kate, a sophomore at Georgia, daughters of Michael and Suzanne McLean. They're both cheerleaders, obviously one for Vanderbilt, one for Georgia, on opposite sides. So, girls, is there a lot of trash talk between you guys during the week?
We try not to. We try to keep it friendly at home.
Is that true?
I think so. We're really supportive of each other, always just cheering each other on, even when we're far away from each other.
But the real rivalry is in the classroom, because Mary Kate, the sophomore at Georgia, actually has a 4.0, but Jordan, Anna Lee, the senior at Vanderbilt, you have a 3.8. Does she give you a hard time for not having as good of a GPA?
Every once in a while, she'll rub it in just a little bit.
I mean, I don't know. I have a 4.0, but we're really, like I said before, we try to be supportive of each other. I mean, it's Georgia, Vanderbilt, they're both good schools. We both have good grades, so.
How do your parents make this work? When you're not playing each other, does one come to the Vanderbilt game, one go to the Georgia game? How do they make this work?
They switch weekends. So if I have an away game, then they're in Athens. If she has an away game, they're in Nashville.
Better cheer squad, Vanderbilt or Georgia?
Georgia. Vandy.
There you go, guys. It's a family affair down here in between the hedges, not just on the field between the football players, but the cheer squads as well.
Proud parents in the stands. Cole, before you let them leave, would either one of them let you borrow their pom-poms and give us some shaking?
Yeah.
Tom wants me to borrow the pom-poms and maybe do it. So I'm going to go one gold.
Okay.
Oh, never give up the microphone. That's your first mistake. Yeah, just put your knuckles together and shake it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have hit a new low. We gave Cole pom-poms.
Cole gave up the mic. Thank you, ladies. That is fantastic. It just means more. Truly, all in the family. Rivalry on the sidelines. How many times have you seen Bring It On?
In the past week? 2. It's a great movie. Are you kidding?
Don't at me.
It's also my favorite part of the dodgeball movie when they do the cheer competition. No doy.
It's already been brought. What this proves, we can talk Cole into just about anything.
Absolutely anything.
3rd down 2. Georgia up by 35. And another high snap.
They got Trey Hill there at center, the true freshman who came in for Solomon Kinley at left guard earlier in the game. Now at center. It's a good part about these games. Towards the end, you got young guys playing different spots. Hasn't had many live reps at center, a couple high snaps.
He's from Jake Fromm's high school, Houston County, and in Warner Robins. Jake Camarda has been asked to punt much tonight. He'll kick it away to Trey Ellis. Ellis stumbles forward. We got a flag on the play.
There's a flag back in the line of scrimmage. It's Cook makes the tackle on coverage for Georgia. Take the flag.
Illegal formation, kicking team, 5-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
Many smiles on the Vandy sideline. But Cole's got spirit. Yes, he do. Cole's got spirit. How about you? We built some fancy graphics.
Yeah, some of my top quarterback. This is not a bad thing. Everybody hears game manager and they think it's a negative. Jake Fromm is unbelievable at the mental aspect of the game as much as he is at the physical aspect, as accurate as you'll find. Jarrett Stidham, a guy that's really struggling. This offense is not showcasing his talent because from a pure talent standpoint, he's really, really good. But this offense can't figure out what they want to be, what they want to do. Stidham's suffering, and that offense is suffering as a result. A guy that is as talented as it comes. I think he's going to be the #1 quarterback taken next year in the NFL draft. If not, he'll be one of the first few. That's how good he is. His deep ball accuracy stands out among everything. But Tua Tagovailoa, I think today we turn the page from, wow, this kid's really good. This is a fast start. When's it going to slow down? To he's doing something that we have never seen in the SEC, in college football. He's that efficient, that dynamic. Argue what you want about the defenses that Alabama's facing. He's been near perfect every chance, every throw he's had this entire season. Tua is special.
He was incredible today. And I think also there needs to be credit given to the scheme.
Totally. Oh, absolutely.
Because they found mismatches all over the field.
New offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. Fitting a new style quarterback. But when you start watching a guy on TV and you're surprised when he throws an incompletion. I mean, literally, I was watching today at the hotel room, threw one to Irv Smith in the end zone. It was an incompletion. I'm like, oh, that was a bad throw. Oh, wait, it went right through his hands. You're just surprised if he misses. That's how good he is. That's the standard. That's what we expect from Tua.
Mo Hassan now in the game for Vanderbilt at quarterback, replacing Kyle Shermer. Remember, Shermer limped off the field after the last possession and a third down play for Vandy. Josh Crawford out of Montgomery, Alabama with the carry. You never know with injuries like this, right? Shermer gets a little banged up. He leaves. The game is not in doubt. Something similar with Jake Bentley last week at Kentucky. He was limping late in the game, came out of the game. Scarnecchia came in. Jake Bentley didn't see the field today for South Carolina.
Yeah, and Scarnecchia played admirable in his place. But you're right, this injury will kind of get pushed to the wayside because it's not a game. You don't really expect him to be in anyway, but you don't really know how bad it is, and we won't really know probably the way teams like to keep injuries in-house, the full extent of it until next week, whether he steps on the field or not.
D'Angelo Gibbs had coverage deep on Donovan Tennyson, but there's a flag on the play.
Pass interference, defense, number 8, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
We'll do our lobby show later tonight, SEC The Weekend, from the SEC Network Twitter handle. As you watch the play by Gibbs, it resulted in a flag. And one thing I want to talk about is the way Jake Bentley was treated by, and I'm using air quotes here, some South Carolina fans. And this is what had Will Muschamp fired up in his post-game interview with Chris Budden today. Fans questioning the heart of Jake Bentley and whether or not he should be on the field. And it was, to me, disgusting the way that these people who claim to be pulling for the South Carolina team treated their quarterback on social media. I don't want to call him their quarterback because he doesn't belong to them, but treated a player who's playing in the program that they claim to root for. It was appalling.
Yeah, when it comes to injuries, no one, and I mean no one outside of that player and the medical staff have any right to say who should or shouldn't be on the field when it comes to pain tolerance or physical limitations or any aspect of it. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know how much pain Bentley's in. We don't know the full extent of the injury.
And the only sweating that these quote-unquote fans are doing happens when they sit on aluminum bleachers on a sunny day. Yep. That's it. So stop it. Here's Crawford. Think about Felipe Franks for a minute. We talked about how he deals with social media earlier in the season. If he would have listened to all the haters in social media, he wouldn't have even played today, let alone lead Florida to one of their biggest wins in years.
Yeah, and that was something he had to learn. He had to learn to shut it off. He had to learn to not look at his Twitter mentions after a game. That's something that'll get to these young, impressionable players. You forget all those voices on social media end up adding up to something that can really have an effect on you.
Sam Dobbs picks up the first down for Vandy. Clock will stop for a moment.
Timeout.
And longer than a moment.
It's the third and final timeout of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
So Vandy can find some momentum. They can't win this game, but they can leave with a positive taste in their mouth, at least a little bit, if they can find a score here late in the game.
Yeah, first impressions of Mo Hassan, haven't really seen him. Just speaking to coaches at Vandy, you know, his athleticism stands out. I tell you what, he throws a good ball. Spins it, nice tight spiral. We saw him push it downfield earlier in the drive, a couple short completions. I mean, I'm not trying to rave about something that's insignificant. I realize this is garbage time, doesn't really matter, but a guy that's in the reins or in the waiting arms of this Vanderbilt team as Kyle Shermer will move on, and after this season, he's got some talent back there.
Hassan out of Dillard High School in Miami, originally went to Syracuse, didn't play for the Orange, and then Coffeyville Community College last year. He's a redshirt sophomore. Georgia has not allowed a touchdown tonight, trying to keep it that way. Hassan has Josh Crawford next to him in the backfield. Fade route. It is incomplete, and multiple flags. They're looking for Tennyson. William Poole with the coverage.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 31. The foul occurred in the end zone. The ball is placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
13th penalty against Georgia tonight.
Try to run the same play we saw Georgia run at the other end. Throwing the corner route into the end zone. Georgia overthrew it. Vandy a little underthrown there, which leads to the penalty.
Couple plays left for Vandy if they do it right. Straight ahead. And Crawford is in. Touchdown Vanderbilt, and Josh Crawford is second of the season. Caps a 7-play, 51-yard drive. Vanderbilt's got Florida next week. It'll be a noon start. Network to be determined. And Georgia's going on the road to LSU. That'll be the CBS game at 3:30. Is Georgia catching LSU at the right time?
I think so. I mean, nothing says that this Georgia team isn't continuing to get better and better each week. And there's been some things on defense that Kirby Smart will want to clean up. But this Georgia team on offense, I think, is really starting to catch their stride. And LSU,
look at this. They're catching their stride, but look at this trio of games they have coming up. And I'm not even including Auburn, which will be out of the top 10 in a day.
Yeah, and two of those road games at LSU, at Kentucky, those aren't easy places to play. And Florida's talented. They're going to have to be sharp. They really are.
Well, if they can come out of that stretch and this season undefeated again, they will have earned that opportunity for the return. Georgia will take a knee, and they will improve to 6-0 on the season, 4-0 in the SEC. Jake Fromm will improve as a starter to 18-2. I kind of thought, big picture, I thought we'd see Justin Fields on the field more often.
Yeah, I think they tried early on to get him in some significant time, throw the football a little bit, had a few penalties on some of his completions as well. This is Jake Fromm's team. There's no doubt. Yes, they would like to continue to bring Justin Fields along for what he can provide as a changeup And down the road, maybe they'll have a decision to make at quarterback. But right now, it's still Jake Fromm's team. He's the best option for this Georgia football team.
Some O-line issues to deal with Georgia. They had some injuries up front. A lot of penalties and procedural issues with the offensive line as well. Kirby Smart takes care of Derek Mason's squad. No repeat of the last time Vandy was here in 2016. Fromm throws for 276 and 3 touchdowns. Kyle Shermer did not throw a touchdown. Go for 169.